Round 1, fight!
Hey, welcome to not a tournament fight. Before anyone says anything, it's not a tournament fight, I know, but I was running way behind and I started doing it, and I'm like while it was running, I'm like, crap, it's a tier ranker, so just roll with it. It's all right. I mean, even the thumbnail says tier ranker, but it says tournament fights, but it's a tier ranker. So welcome to tier ranker. Even the intro, which I'm going to change after I do the intros, but it says tournament fights, but it is a tier ranker for any confusion. But this is episode number 91 of tier ranker fight. So I did get the number right as I changed the intro, the title. There we go. That should do it. And I'm your host, Jordan, the movie hero Anderson, and yeah, we're doing a tier ranker, our last decade for animation, and this is going to be the best animated movies of the 90s. So we'll have a championship next month, and that will determine the greatest animated movies of all time. It'll be a top 10, but we'll determine in a number one. We'll have a clear number one plus 10 more, so or 10 altogether. So yeah, but let's go ahead and introduce our panel for tonight. First up, we got my co-host Austin Pez Howell.
Well,
what's up, Austin?
War 90s, so we can get in the mood. So
nice.
Yeah,
someone just gifted me this, and it's just animation, so it's something.
I don't have any shirts of the movies on the thing tonight, so it just is what it is. But I got the closest thing, which is 90s something. Yeah,
I had a Powerline shirt. That would have been the closest thing, but that has since I wore that thing to death.
Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah, I do have Beavis and Butthead, so could have gone with that, but it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have joining us Jacob Barber.
And I didn't forget to put Beavis and Butthead on the list this time, so it is there.
I asked you about that as soon as you were starting to make the list. I said, make sure you don't forget Beavis and Butthead. So, because this was like their actual theatrical movie. So yeah, you definitely needed to remember.
Yeah. So yeah, I made sure to add it. I got some good movies on the list. Excited to talk about. Like, there is a clear top 10. But my clear top 10 isn't going to match, I think, the panel's top 10. So I'm curious to see what this list is going to look like at the end, because this is a pretty strong decade overall.
Yeah, and I think for me that I've got it like about a top 15, but I have some wiggle room in case some of them don't make it, So, but we also have joining us Brian Nussbaum. What's up, Brian?
We're late, but we didn't miss Baywatch though. Yeah.
Nice.
So 90 is a good decade for Disney animation. We'll see what Disney films will show up tonight on the S tier.
Yeah, and we will have one other person join us, Richie, just wrapping up something, and then he'll be being here with us. We were going to have 6, but since I am doing most of the behind the scenes stuff, again, it got late, so Josh wasn't able, but we're gonna have Josh Diggins on. He says go Lion King. That was like his number one vote, so we'll keep that in our hearts that he's a big Lion King fan. But yeah, so Austin, do you want to explain how it's gonna work tonight? Well, and I'll bring up the tier chart.
While I'm explaining it, Jacob, if you get a second, either you or me could repost that list back into the group chat just so we can refer to it.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. But anyways, in a minute, Mr. Barber, who's running our tier ranker chart tonight and put it together for us. So thank you, Jacob. He'll be pulling that up in just a second, and we will get started. We've got S tier, A tier, B, C, D, and F. We'll be looking to put 10 in the S tier, S for superior, the best of the best. We'll be looking to get 10 in there for this decade, and we'll see which 10, like Jordan said, move on to our championship episode next month, which is going to be really tough. But yeah, we'll go around the horn. Everybody will get a chance to nominate something from the pool of movies from the 90s, and we'll come to a consensus. Everybody will get a chance to vote where they think what tier it should be in, whatever movie it may be on the table. And we'll come to kind of consensus where it's going to land, and we'll see where we are. After about 2 hours or so, we'll wrap things up with a Hail Mary last chance round of sorts. I'll explain a little bit more about that when we get there, and then we'll see what happens from there and start ranking the individual tiers. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, sounds good to me. And yeah, we'll start at the bottom with Brian. So
damn, there's a lot of good movies there. Look at all that stuff, man. Jesus.
Yeah,
man.
There's some good stuff. So yeah, and like I said, I gave myself a little wiggle room where I have a couple of movies where like maybe I wouldn't necessarily say S tier, but if somebody nominates it and wants to advocate, I may go S tier. I may be swayed. We'll see. So
I kind of cheated because usually we do theatrical only.
So direct to video, I know this,
but
a couple of straight to videos
there were, which I think are potential A tiers. That's why I included them.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, I can.
Those like Aladdin sequels, yeah.
I think it's those two and
the Lion King sequel.
Lion King,
yeah.
Well, Brian, you're up first, so. What do you want to nominate first?
I'm going to go with my favorite Disney film of all time. I'm going to go with Aladdin for S tier.
All right.
This is a movie I love watching a lot. Great villain by Jafar. Great animation with the genie's different impressions. Great voice cast with Scott Wagner, a.k.a. Steve from Full House. This is the movie that started with getting celebrity doing voice work for Disney. They started Ron Williams for the main role for Genie. Great music, great score by Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. So I'm going to nominate Aladdin for S tier.
Yeah, that sounds good. Jacob, what do you say about Aladdin?
Yeah, this is an easy S tier as well. It's not my favorite of the 90s, but it's up there. I think the voice performances are incredible. The story is just a lot of fun. The genie is just one of the most fun characters I think in all of movies, voiced tremendously by the late Robin Williams. Jafar is a great villain. The only thing that like knocks it down for me, which I mean it's not knocking it down too much because I'm still putting it in the S tier. No great villain song. I wish this had a villain song that might bump it up even more.
You got the Prince how they were praised by Jafar. That's all.
It's not a song though. It's a reprise. It's not a full-on song. And I know he had one at one point and it was cut. And
it's cut, so you can find that online.
Yeah.
Like a villain song that's just his.
Yeah.
But I'm still going S tier.
And I feel like at 90 minutes, they could have added a 4-minute villain song and it wouldn't really hurt anything like pacing wise or anything. So, Aladdin's an easy top fiver for this decade for sure. Yeah, probably not my number one. We'll get to that at a certain point, but it's an easy S tier for this one. Robin Williams giving an all-time great performance where they had to literally create like 40 characters that he came up with, just improvising and throwing stuff out there. It's insane, different animations for the genie. I mean, from the opening Arabian Nights thing, like you're thrown right into it, and it's really great. And like I said, one of the last Howard Ashman and Alan Menken collaborations right after Beauty and the Beast before Howard passed away. But you can tell because those songs, everything's great storytelling, great character development through the songs, and a great opening setup, through the marketplace, just like all the other great openings that they do to set up these worlds. And it's good stuff, man. S tier.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy S tier. I think that Aladdin for me has like maybe out of all the movies in the 90s the best voice cast. Like it just fits so well. Robin Williams, Gilbert Gottfried as Iago. I mean, who would have thought that Steve from Full House would be Aladdin, but he is, and then Frank Welker does a great job. He does Abu, he does Raja, he does like he does
every animal voice in every movie ever.
Yeah, right.
And also you get Santa Claus for Earth Day's Christmas in the film as the Sultan.
Oh yeah. So so it's an easy S tier, and then And then also too, I mean, shout out Alan Menken. Like, all throughout the 90s, he just wrote some of the best music for like any Disney movies. I really want to go see the. I believe that they have a documentary out all about it and
Yes,
his
Howard.
music and stuff.
The Howard documentary is good. It's not very flashy, but it's it's a very good story, and it's about a great partnership that he had with Alan for sure. Like,
Yeah,
fascinated in early Disney. Like, yeah, you owe it to yourself to check that out on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and then also we got
just in time, Richie.
In the house.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey, Richie.
We need to start.
We just started a little bit ago. I was running behind, but so you can still comment on Aladdin. We've all commented, but we put it in S tier. But what do you say?
Oh, the original Aladdin. Oh yeah, 90s. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Look,
the 2019 Aladdin.
Yes. I'm back. Look, I'm still in lunch mode. Here we go. Yeah, 90s Aladdin. Yes. Yes, that belongs in S tier. It's great. I love the voice cast. It's amazing. Yes, it's probably why that, maybe for better or worse they use like big name actors in a voice cast now. But yeah, even though Rob Williams didn't want to be on the marketing material, and he Disney defied that, he's all over the marketing material. So but yeah, it's a really good film, and it's a classic.
All right. Well, it's unanimous for Aladdin. So
yeah.
And now that he commented, let's do this so we don't and he can go next.
Yes.
Okay,
That
sure.
makes sense,
We can do that. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. So, Richie, you can go next.
I forgot I'm in charge of the chart. I gotta scroll down.
And in the chat, we posted all the list of all the movies if you need a reminder.
Yes.
Yeah, I briefly saw that.
But basically, a 90s animated movie, just throw one out there. I'm sure Jacob's got it on here somewhere.
Yeah.
You want to do Jetsons, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about a little Rockadoodle? You ready for some Rockadoodle?
About some Rover Dangerfield.
Doug's first movie. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be obvious, and I'll go the first Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Man, garbage.
Yes,
F tier.
S tier. I know we were going to get to it eventually, and but why not get to it now? And it's amazing. Oh yeah, what I'm going to say about it's amazing. It started off the CGI, and different style animation that we use to this day, and it could have, it was they had a lot of writing on Toy Story, and it was one of their biggest success stories. I can talk, and it's for better or worse still going to this day. I think they should have stopped at 3, but we're getting a 5th one. But these characters are still great, so even though I protest it, I will be watching it in the theater when it comes out. But yeah, Toy Story is amazing. And
I see whatever comes out every week anyway, so I'm sure I'll be there watching it. But I'm not particularly hyped for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jacob, what do you say?
That's just the beauty of movies. We all say, "Oh, that looks terrible. There's no way I'm going to watch that."
I'll be there on Thursday.
I'm watching
at 3 o'clock.
It's
great. That's a terrible idea. We don't need a Toy Story 5. Hey, that movie was over.
Little Mermaid looks bad. I've got my ticket for 3 o'clock next Thursday.
Right.
See how bad it's gonna be. I'll be there.
Yeah.
He wants to Ursula.
Yeah.
As far as Toy Story, I agree with the S tier for Toy Story. This was, I believe, it was the first or second. I can't remember. I always say this: whichever one came out first, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or Toy Story. I always look it up and then I always forget. One of those two is the first movie I saw in theaters that I remember, and then it's been a movie that I've watched to this day. I will still go back to this movie because I think it's great. I think the voice cast is great. It spawned a studio that has given us at least 20, in my opinion, great movies. Not all on the same level of greatness, but all on some level of great. And yeah, if Toy Story failed, who knows what would have happened, but it didn't because it was just such a fun story. I think Woody and Buzz have turned into like one of the best duos in movies. And just who didn't as a kid, play with their toys like that, and just to see it on screen, and it was cool. And now as an adult, it just brings me back to my childhood, and every once in a while we need that. So I'm gonna go S tier for Toy Story.
Yeah. Well, Austin.
Yeah, and Jacob, by the way, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out in June. Toy Story November, so it must have been Power Rangers.
It was Power Rangers.
Yeah,
I remember more of Toy Story.
I saw both of those movies in theaters. Yes, but I do remember the night I saw Toy Story to this day. Whole family went. It was a packed out theater, brand new theater, kind of across town, and the whole crowd just being blown away by it because we just hadn't seen anything like it. I mean, we'd seen all the other Disney movies, but this was something brand new. That we just hadn't seen, and it was stunning, and it still works. Obviously, they improved the the CGI and the subsequent sequels. Obviously, smoothed it out a little bit to where it looks a little more detailed, a little better. But the charm of this first movie and the friendship between Woody and Buzz that develops, and Sid being a great little villain, and just the whole dynamic of the characters. It's still a movie I can go back to and get fully immersed in. So yeah, it's an easy S tier for Toy Story. Jordan.
Yeah, this movie sucks. Toy Story, what a stinker. No, I'm just kidding. No, Toy Story is awesome. Like, it's like one of the best, if not the best, Pixar movie like of all time. And it was the first one, and it's still one that people say is their number one. A lot of people do, and it's a movie that they've been working on this style of animation since the 80s. They had I think that first like knick-knack thing they created in the 80s, the little snowman and the globe thing. And like who would have thought that Disney and Pixar were and Steve Jobs, I guess he was part of the founding of Pixar, and would be hiding this from all of us, this awesome animation style. I do appreciate classic animation style, and I wish that they would come out with maybe more, maybe go back and forth and do some of that. But I think this is kind of like the new normal, just about. And that's great, though. And Toy Story is awesome. Great characters, amazing stories. And this is back when Pixar movies were an event. You would go to the theater, and it'd be a huge event every time. It would be packed for opening night, packed opening weekend, and I hope maybe someday we can get back to that. But but it's an easy S tier. So, Brian.
All I'll say is you're Saturday low bad. You have a farewell. Yeah, Toy Story easy S tier for me. Love the characters, love the voice work. You get Jim Varney there, another Ernest reference for there.
Yeah,
you get some great characters. You get Sid, the villain for me, but I would say Woody was most the villain for the first half of the movie than Sid is. But overall, the movie I give it S tier.
Yeah, sounds good. Another unanimous one. Yep. So it'll be Jacob. So what are you gonna
move what you will?
I wonder what I'm going for.
I wonder.
Yeah. You're going for one of those Brave Little Toaster sequels, right?
Absolutely, but not yet. Because I, if you know me, it's The Lion King. I'm just gonna spoil it now. This is my favorite animated movie of all time, which is really a spoiler for the people on the panel. But for people who don't know me, this is my number one, and I think it's just it means so much to me personally because this was a movie that I watched growing up with my grandma, who I moved in with after my grandpa passed away. Our family moved in, and yeah, it's just a movie that holds so many good memories. But it's also a really good movie. Like it's got some gorgeous animation, great characters, a great villain in Scar with such a memorable villain song. Be Prepared is fantastic. And you could pick any song from this movie and say that's your favorite song of the movie, and I'd be like, yeah, I get that, because it's just full of so many good songs. Simba is a great character. The Timon and Pumbaa are just such fun, side characters who later would get their own sort of spin-off movie with Lion King 1.5, kind of from their perspective, which I think is a lot of fun too. And yeah, I didn't see it as a kid, but now you just can't get those Nala sex eyes out of your mind. She gives Simba the look, and then they go for it. I'm pretty sure they did it in the grass. And yeah, I love just everything about this movie. It holds such a special place in my heart. It's why it's one of my favorite movies. Period. Right behind Mary Poppins, because that's also great. So easy S tier for me. And if anybody says otherwise, I will personally help you get your brain tested.
Yeah. Well, Austin,
why do you think that they immediately had a kid at the end of the movie, Jacob? Hosted up for the new scene because they did it under the moonlight, Jacob. I mean, they were ready to go.
How long lion pregnancies last?
I mean, I think it's probably pretty. I don't know. I'll Google that in a second.
I'm Googling it right now.
Google it right now.
Lions just take periods just a few minutes. That's what
right. It's like a fly. Yeah. They only live for a day. But no, I mean, come
110
on.
days.
Okay, so that's what
roughly 3.5 months, almost 4
months. Okay, so about half the time of a human, roughly. So yeah, okay, it's possible. That grass could have grown back in 4 months. It works. But anyways, no, I mean, come on. Yeah, I grew up with this movie. I had this movie on VHS. I watched it over and over again. Yeah, it's a pretty fantastic movie, and it's a reason why I can't connect to the remake, because there's sequences in this thing that only work as a cartoon. There's certain musical sequences, the expressions on the faces, you can't get that when it looks realistic. You have to have this cartoon quality. And come on, only James Earl Jones could produce another voice acting that probably rivals his Darth Vader. Like only James Earl Jones could do some shit like that and get away with it. So, and Jeremy Irons, yeah, it's still maybe his most iconic role. So, oh no, it's 100% S tier. Yeah, well, the hard part of this episode is not what makes it to the S tier. It'll be ranking the S tier later. That's going to be the hard part. So, yeah, we'll see.
And look what I did. We guys were all talking. I fixed the background, so we got tier rankers back there. I don't have it uploaded for an overlay yet, but it will be there in a minute. But yeah, Lion King is an absolute S tier. Like this is one of the best animated movies of all time, and it has my favorite song of all time, with Circle of Light. I think that song is incredible. It's one I just like to crank up and just listen to it loud, and I love the epicness of it in the beginning. Like they used it really well in the trailer, where it just like at the end, and it just like on that logo for the Lion King just pops up right there, and I think it's just perfect the way that it's done. And yeah, it follows Hamlet fairly well, so it's kind of, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it does. And yeah, it's got great songs that like I could probably tell you every single word of every single song, because when I was in elementary school, for some reason I have a weird mind like this. I can remember like these things from elementary school, and we did a Lion King musical, and I was Zazu in the musical, and we had to sing all the songs, and so I have them all memorized. And yeah, it's great, and it's a movie that just brings you through all the range of emotions, from like being super happy to being shocked and being sad and being like cheering for the character. You have a romance, you have great villains, so you're a little, maybe for kids you might be a little scared when like Jafar comes out, all that stuff. So yeah, it's an easy S tier. So, but Brian, what do you say about Lion King?
I'm good. I agree. S tier for Lion King. Great music, great score, great music by Elton John himself. And a fun true fact is, and be prepared, Jim Cummings had to take over for Jerry Irons because he bumped out his voice for the song "Be Prepared." I love the musical.
Oh, really?
I love the musical they have for the film as well, and have a great nostalgia feel with this, where I saw John concert and he played Circle Life at the end of his concert. That got me like nostalgia feel. So I'm going to go S tier.
Yeah, and there's what it's supposed to look like that. But anyways, Richie.
Yeah, I think this was the first movie I saw in theaters. I believe, yeah. So it holds a special place in my heart as well. And yeah, it's still a fantastic movie. I've seen it so many times. I still watch it. At least once a year to this day. It's amazing. I can't say much more about it. Yeah, like the live action just doesn't work because you can't get the you can't the CGI you can't get the animals to emote the way you want it to. Mufasa dies and Simba looks like he doesn't give a fuck.
You don't get that iconic no scene, with the phase out, scene.
Yeah,
you don't get that with the remake. Like it doesn't work. Yeah.
And then on top of that, like the voice actors seem like they're bored, and I feel like the only good voice actors that work in that movie are Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa, and I think John Oliver makes a good Zazu. So yeah.
And there's a little guy named James Earl Jones.
Oh, James Earl Jones is good, but we already mentioned him. I did that. That goes without saying. So, liking the original is amazing. So yes, and also if you haven't seen the Timon and Pumbaa TV series,
that was great too.
That's really funny. That's really funny. It's just generally funny. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's why I have my reservations about The Little Mermaid, because some of the animals, like Sebastian and Flounder and stuff, I'm just like, dude. It looks
And
weird.
I did not know that Awkwafina was doing Scuttle. And
Scuttle too. You got that.
Oh God, and I can't stand Awkwafina, dude. So that's even another strike against that movie.
I like Awkwafina, but
and also she has
have you heard the rap song now that the soundtrack is out?
The rap song?
There's a rap.
Scuttle does a rap song. Aquafina does a rap song for the movie.
Song.
So we had to add rap music. That's why this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh man.
Oh God. I can't wait
to see what she rhymes Dinglehopper with.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Apparently they're not using Snarf Blast, apparently.
Yeah, the Snarf Blast. Yeah, what are they gonna rhyme that with? Yeah.
Barf bag.
Yeah. So can all right, so for my turn, can Jacob and I get our shit pick out of the way before I get my real pick out?
Yeah.
Oh God.
We can't forget our shit pick, Jacob. Let's get our shit pick up there.
I couldn't do that first.
Yeah, we watched Richie a little movie on Tubi called The Pebble and the Penguin.
I've heard of it. I think Nostalgia talked about that too.
Yeah,
Richie, I remember that one.
It's a Don Bluth production. I don't think he had a actual hand in it. It was like his company. It is the most bland, uninspired, rip-off fucking nonsense like you'll ever see, with zero character development, bad music. Like the opening song is atrocious. A really stupid setup for a story. It's like, all the penguins go out and find pebbles in the ground and then get married. That's dumb. Yeah. And then Tim Curry voices the villain, Drake, who looks nothing like a penguin. He's like a jacked up wolf who they say is a penguin. It makes no sense. And literally his one opening scene of character development is, I love myself. I'm strong. I'm going to steal your girl, pretty much, of like 5 seconds. And that's his character development.
Who does that remind you of?
Well, yeah. Who does a jacked up dude who wants to steal somebody's girl remind you of? Yeah, I wonder. It's like a mix of Gaston and Scar from Lion King. It's really piss poor.
Hercules.
It seems like all the voice actors recorded this in 2 days. It's really, really bad. So yeah, Jacob and I are gonna both put this in the F tier, and then we can move on to better, bigger, and better things on this episode. So yeah, this movie sucks.
Well, funny enough, I've actually seen it. I haven't gone back to it since I was a kid.
Don't you dare!
But I think I saw this movie in theaters actually when it came out. It's crazy.
I thought you were gonna say B tier. It's not too bad. No. I'm
not gonna go.
No.
No. It's bad. I mean, I think that it's not as bad as some F tiers that movies that we've had before. That Titanic one is way worse than this, but even still, it's not good, and I mean, I could give it an F, sure. I have no problem just leaving it there. So yeah, we'll just say F.
Yeah, we're just getting it out of the way. Now I can get to my actual pick. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, because we both agreed to watch something bad, and we did, and it was shit. But it's funny. It's not so bad like Titanic that there's like clips we can play from it that are funny, like The Thing or appalling. It's just there. It's like something you buy at the supermarket for $1. Like it's terrible. Yeah, in that dollar bin, garbage. So
deserve the dollar bin.
So anyways, back to the real pick. All right, let's have a little fun, guys. Beavis and Butthead Do America. Get that shit up in the S tier.
Let's go in the S tier. Let's go.
Because damn it, this movie is hilarious. It is everything I wanted out of a Beavis and Butthead movie at the time, like on the big screen. An epic road trip, great kind of animated sequences. There's even a sequence that Rob Zombie directed in the middle of this thing. The hallucination sequence. Yeah, that he animated. It's great. All the characters get their little moments and they make it work, man. This movie rules. It's in my top 100. I love it. Beavis and Butthead Do America is an S tier. Even Siskel and Ebert recognized greatness and gave it 2 thumbs up. That's how good this movie was. That even those guys recognized how great it was. Thumbs up. So yeah.
Well, if you want to find out a little more about Beavis and Butthead, if you watch the Howie Mandel podcast, he actually had Mike Judge on there, and then on the next episode he has Rob Zombie on there, so he had him on there, and then he also had Jim Cummings on there, so he's had some voice actors and things, and this movie is great. This movie is hilarious. Like, just them going on a crazy road trip all the way to the White House, and then you have Beavis in the White House going, like, sitting in the Oval Office, like, saying, "I am the great Cornholio. I need TP for my bungaholio," and he's like getting on the phone and like ordering people around to bring him TP and stuff, and then it's just them when they're on the bus too, and they're like hitting on the old ladies on the like seniors bus. They're like, "Hey, baby," and it's like the really old lady. Yeah, like there's just like so many great things, and like I just like it because it's like
today.
Yeah, right. But it's like for me, I think Beavis and Butthead are akin to a lot of classic cartoons where like it's just kind of slapstick, kind of goofball. These kind of deadhead guys just kind of just looking their way into all kinds of crazy situations, but they're just really stupid on purpose, and it really works. Like I think that it's a ton of fun, and like I'm surprised like for like both Beavis and Butthead movies for this, and then when we had Do the Universe on here, like they're both 2 of my highest on the whole list. Like it's just crazy when you think about it. So yeah,
and
I'm gonna say
Mike Judge knows soundtrack talent. He put an AC/DC song on the soundtrack, but not just any AC/DC song you hear in every other movie. He put Gone Shootin' from the Power Ridge album, which is a very deep cut, as one of the montage songs, which respect for one of the great deep cut AC/DC songs, Mike Judge, and not just putting like Back in Black or Thunderstruck on there that everybody uses.
Yeah, TNT, something like that.
He used some real shit on that thing, and I love it. So there you go.
Yeah. Yep. So S tier. So Brian, what do you say?
S tier all the way, baby. Beavis and Butthead, love the movies. One of the first movies of the 90s. Like for that, like they had for the TV, and like God notices it being taken away. Says, "Well, this sucks." Yeah. Especially when in the desert they meet their fathers. And
this sucks.
Beavis knows focus more on the fire of his father. Fun fact: the father by his dad, voiced by David Letterman for some reason.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
So yeah, S tier all the way.
Yeah. Well, Richie, what do you say?
Yeah, this is S tier. I was going to bring it up probably next.
From the guy who had Beavis and Butthead tattoos.
Yeah, I do, and also speaking of the soundtrack, this is like the Red Hot Chili Peppers cover of Roller Coaster is really
it's really good. It's a
good
song.
And then the video clip is awesome too. The song, you give me that funny feeling in my tummy. It just pumps you up. It's a good pump up song. It's just really funny. Is this anywhere near goddamn
Huh.
I love it, and I still watch it to this day, and I'm glad to see that the quality of Beavis and Butthead hasn't dipped. It's still very good. The new episodes are still very good, and I'm even. I'm not as big of a fan of King of the Hill, but I'm looking forward to it. I like Mike Judge as a writer, so look at it. I look forward to
there's new material where Hank can go after like woke culture and shit, and like kids nowadays. So like, there's new material out there.
Yeah.
Like there's a way you can bring it into modern times and it'll
Go
work.
to social media and all that.
Yeah, hipsters, TikTok, like there's all kinds of stuff like they can get into with the family. So it's fine. Yeah.
So definitely has to.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, what do you say?
I knew I would be the odd man out on this one. But not because I don't like it. I do like it. I'm just not as high on it as everyone else. I do think there's some good humor here. It's not something that I go back to very often, but I see why people love it. I get the appeal. I totally do. It's just not for me, but I still enjoy it. Like if it was on and people wanted to watch it, I'd be like, yeah, let's watch it. And that's kind of like that B tier for me. It's movies that I enjoy, but I don't turn on myself. But if other people want to watch, okay, that's the B tier for me. So I'd give it a B. But I'm not mad.
Well, at least you're not Malcolm like dumping it in like the D tier or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? And just completely shitting all over it.
Because I do get the appeal. I get the humor. I get why people love it. It's just like I said, not something I go back to, but something that I can.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting Beavis and Butthead to do America to rank above Aladdin or Lion King or whatever in the rankings. You know what I mean? Like I was just trying to get it into like that number 10 spot. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Get it in there. So that's what I'm hoping for. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think both of them are going to be in the championship episode.
It might be because the other one did, right?
Yeah. Like I could see this. Like I would have no problem with this being like the number 10.
Yeah.
Like I because like I said, I get why people love it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, what's your pick?
I was trying to think between a couple, but I get yeah. No, I'm gonna go with one of my personal favorites because I don't know. I mean, well, I know for sure that the people don't agree with me as far as how much I love it, but like you may think that it's still pretty good. Possibly, I'm gonna go with Mulan. So Mulan's my favorite Disney movie. Period. I just love the way that it's done. The whole like aspect of honoring your family. I think that's it's a really cool concept. I've always loved that about Asian culture and just like the lengths that Mulan's willing to go. So her father, being of old age, doesn't have to go out and fight, and she wants to be the one to bring honor to her family. And one of my favorite scenes is the scene where she cuts her hair off too, because that's like a symbolic of a transition of her going to be no longer be just like a normal family member. She's now this soldier, and like what she's giving up and potentially might be sacrificing, and just shows how much she loves her family and her country, and then just having Mushu in there too. I think that that works really well. I think it's a fun sidekick to just kind of bring some lightheartedness and some humor into it, and yeah, I think that it's a lot of fun, and the music still works. I mean, I feel like maybe like there's not as all timers as like a Lion King or an Aladdin, but like I think it's kind of like if we were to do tiers. I mean, for the music, Mulan would maybe be A tier for me, but as far as an overall movie, it's S tier. I think this movie's great, and it's another one where the live action was subpar. I don't think that it's as bad as some live action, but it wasn't like anywhere near the animated. So yeah, but. So S tier, and Brian, if you're there, I don't know if he's there. I might have stepped away. So
Brian,
okay.
Oh, there he is. Huh?
What do you say about Mulan?
For Mulan, yeah, I enjoy Mulan. The music is great, but overall for this deck, I'll give it A tier.
Yeah, that's fair. Richie.
I like Mulan. It's not S tier for me though. I think it's more, like it's not something to go back to. I appreciate it, and especially like Mushu, but I'm more sort of in the B tier. Like I'm sort of like where Jacob is with Beavis and Butthead. Like if people want to watch it and it's on, I'll sit and watch it. But yeah, it's not something that I'd personally go, this is on. This got added. This is on. I gotta watch this. So, but yeah, it's a good movie. So I'll go B tier.
What did Brian vote again? I'm sorry, I missed
A tier.
A tier. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Yeah, I'm also in that A tier because I do think this is a really strong movie. I think Mulan is a great character, and Mushu is a really great side character voiced by Eddie Murphy. Yeah, just some of those animated action sequences are really cool. Yeah, I like sort of the message about doing what you can to and kind of finding who you are and not letting I guess labels like put you in a box or whatever. And yeah, the music is good. Reflection is a really great song. And yeah, I think it's one of the stronger of the decade. But like I said, I've got a top 10 in my mind, and this just unfortunately didn't make it. But I'm right at that A tier. But like the Disney Renaissance is one of those eras where you could say this is my favorite movie, and you could be like, I get that. So like I get why Mulan is people's favorite because it is a great movie, but just for me it's just not quite there. So I'm going A.
Yeah, and when I say that the music's might be A tier for me, there are a couple S tier. I'll Make a Man Out of You and Reflections. Those are two like bangers for me. But Austin?
Yeah, if you go back into the archives of the Movie Hero Network, when Jacob and I did our 90s Disney Renaissance and a podcast about movies, which you can find on the network, go find it. It's a really good episode. One of my favorites we've done so far. So I've seen all these movies recently, like fairly recently. That was within a year ago or so that we did that show. And yeah, I hadn't revisited Mulan in a long time, revisited for that show. It ended up being like a B tier movie for me. Like I think it's good. But for me, what holds me back is it doesn't really hook me in like the first act like some of these other movies do. It takes a long time for me to get really invested in the movie, and the music is just not as strong for me personally. And I think that's that Alan Menken, Howard Shore like influence on those earlier movies as opposed to these later ones that doesn't work as strong. And Eddie Murphy's fun, but I think it's kind of a tune-up for what he would do with Donkey, like 2-3 years later. With Shrek, and then he would kind of perfect that. So, strong movie, but not one of my personal favorites. So I'll go B tier. So, but up in A.
But I do like some of the like quotes too. Like for all intents and purposes, that her family should have been really pissed off at her for doing that, and then at the end, Father just said the greatest gift is having you for a daughter. So at the end, it just shows that like he just cares that he's his daughter and that he loves her. So I think that's a cool message too. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Mm-hmm. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian.
Yeah. For my next pick, I'm gonna go with Beauty Beast. Tales All the Time. Beauty Beast for S tier.
Damn it!
Don't steal my pick, Brian. How dare you?
You stole my pick.
It's right there, so. This is a movie that in the first animated movie to be done for a Best Picture nomination. Great animation, great story with based on a French novel, I believe. Great voice cast matching the characters. Jerry Orbach as Lumiere, Neil Stiers. Some great music. Be Our Guest, Beauty Beast, and a great villain for 90's Gaston S tier.
Yeah. Richie, what do you say about Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, I gave it away. This was going to be my next one, and now I'm going to find what I'm going to do next. So Beauty and the Beast it's great. Yeah, so the first animated to be nominated for Best Picture. I feel like that alone should qualify it for S tier. But yeah, the music is some of the more memorable music in an animated film, probably just in a film really. The story is great. The voice acting is some of the best voice acting we've gotten in a film. The movie holds up and is amazing. So yes, S tier.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you say about Beauty and the Beast?
Well, as we've already discussed, Gaston was the inspiration for the villain from the classic The Pebble and the Penguin.
Mhm.
So, obviously, this is an important movie in animated history. No, this is getting an S tier for me. For the longest time, like this was my, I could argue that this was my favorite animated movie. Because I love the story. I love the music. The animation, once again, is beautiful. I think I'll say that about most of these 90s Disney movies. And yeah, it was nominated for Best Picture for a reason. The music is incredible. And according to mine and Austin's battleground match, it's the better of the movies anyway. So
I know, but what's up with that horny candlestick, Jacob? That's really weird.
It's just a pervy candlestick. That's so weird. Like, what kind of message is that sending to kids?
Yeah, that's just odd.
But then again, Timon and Pumbaa is all fart jokes, right?
It sure is. No, that's good stuff. We barely knew each other back then, Jacob. Oh, how times have changed. Yeah. So yeah, no, good stuff. No, Beauty and the Beast. I've made it no secret. I think this is my number one of this decade. Like this is my favorite of the decade. I think this movie's a masterpiece. I think the opening sequence where she's walking through the village, singing the song is a perfect setup of storytelling, and how you can convey a song and set up every location, every character, every dynamic, the motivations, all in one song. That's the brilliance of the Howard and Alan, team with this thing. They perfectly know how to set up every character with every song. There's not a wasted scene in this movie. Every scene progresses the story, progresses the characters, and it's beautiful. The score is incredible. The music is incredible. The animation's incredible. The voice acting top notch. This is my number one with a bullet. So yeah, I mean, not to spoil my rankings later, but yeah, that's where this is going to be. So it's 100% S plus for Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. 5 out of 5 plus here.
5 out of 5 plus. That's right.
Like Chris Scott would say, yeah. But yeah, I just forgot I was going to shout out a couple of people in the chat. Sarah's always tuning in, so what's up, Sarah? And then my friend Rachel hasn't watched for a little bit. She's tuned in before, but yeah, good to see you. So yeah, crazy old Maurice. That's like one of the things me and my brothers always like quote to each other. But don't be a crazy old Maurice. But yeah, this movie is great. It's got great characters, great storytelling, a great love story. Really good villain that doesn't have to be some kind of like, I don't know, some like crazy over the top. I mean, he is over the top.
He's not a I'm gonna take over the world villain or anything like that. He's just like I want the girl that I can't get, and I'm just gonna be psychotic about it, Yeah.
And he's gonna go to great lengths. He's gonna kill the beast. He's gonna do all these things, and I think it's got really cool settings. Kind of, I think it's in France, right? That's where it's set.
Yeah.
But and it makes sense because all the like furniture and things that were once humans that kind of have French accents and stuff. But and it's got a really cool castle setting, the cool village, like just all that stuff. And yeah, and also too, if you ever run into Gaston at any of the Disney parks, he's one of the like most fun characters.
I showed Jacob one of the videos of that after one of our shows, and it's brilliant. Those guys are
awesome. It's like really cool how he interacts with like little kids and everything.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Like it's great. Yeah. So it's got to be S tier for Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Another clean sweep. So, Richie. All right, where are we going next?
God. All right. Hang on. Fuck it. Toy Story 2.
Just go for ants. Just do it.
No, Toy Story 2.
Wow.
What do you mean, wow? What was that? Wow.
What does that mean?
And you pick the first one, now you're picking the second one. If the third one is available, you pick it too.
Probably.
Well, spoiler alert, when we get to the championship episode, yeah, probably Toy Story 3 will probably get called out, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. There's a reason why this trilogy is one of the highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes. It's amazing. And Toy Story 2, I think it's underrated by a lot of people. Toy Story 2 is amazing. I really love this story. And you get to see, sort of Woody's bit of a backstory there. I know people are calling for like a Woody movie, because Buzz Lightyear had a movie, even though that movie sucked. But it's like we got Woody's sort of backstory in Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing. I think like the addition of the new characters, Jesse. I think Joan Cusack does a good job as Jesse, and Bullseye. I think he's a cool character. And I think Kelsey Grammer as Stinky Pete. I think that's a good villain. I really love it. I think I like how it kind of gets a bit dark. I love Toy Story 2. I don't know what gets forgotten. I think it's an S-tier movie. So Toy Story 2.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you say?
For the longest time, I had Toy Story 2 as my favorite of the Toy Stories. I've recently, flip-flopped, I think, but it's such a strong, franchise that you could say any of them are your favorite, and I would be like, I get that. I think Toy Story 2 is also S tier. Like Richie said, the addition of the new characters are great. The villain is great. And this is, I think, that that first Pixar movie where they really hit you with the emotion with that scene with Jesse, and that who is it? Sarah McLachlan.
Oh my God!
Yeah, family just knows how to hit emotion, whether it's animals or toys.
Yeah.
She'll get you to cry. And
it's like, damn it, Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, but I agree with S tier. I think both of them deserve to be there. Two of Pixar's strongest, not just from the 90s because they only had 3, but two of Pixar's strongest. Period. So absolutely S tier.
Yeah. Well, Austin?
No, it's funny how as you get older, for the longest time, Toy Story 2 was my favorite of the trilogy. I thought it was funnier than the first one. I loved all the deeper themes with the stuff that Stinky Pete brought to the table and the Jesse stuff and the Woody's Roundup. All that stuff was great. The character expansions, the fact that Buzz kind of led the rescue mission, that was fun. Kind of during their little trip, through the Alice Toy Barn and all that stuff. And that stuff was great. And it's just at any given point in your life, depending on what you latch onto, it's just that in my older age now, I've kind of latched on to Toy Story 3 and some of those themes, just as an adult. But as like kind of a teenager or young 20s, like Toy Story 2 was my favorite. Like I that was the one I watched more than the other ones. And this is 100% S tier. Toy Story 2 is a great example of what you can do, how you can do almost a perfect sequel. Fully expanding on characters and natural progression, introducing great new characters, even just little side characters like the Barbie stuff is great. Like, the alternate Buzz is great. Like all that stuff is perfect. Very, very funny, but very heartfelt as well. So no, Toy Story 2 deserves to be right up there with the original Toy Story in the 90s. Absolutely. S tier. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that Toy Story 2 is my third favorite of the Toy Story franchise, but that doesn't matter. Like, it's still an S tier. This movie's still great. And it's got some little nuances that really work. I like when they go to Al's Toy Barn and they're sneaking through that, and they have to sneak into the guy's apartment, and then you have Emperor Zurg that comes in, and then I think they're going to have a showdown, which they kind of do, but then you find out, spoiler, that it's Buzz's father, and then they have a catch, which is kind of cool. So
what?
Sorry, but
get it.
Yeah.
You just broke the internet. I can't be on the stream anymore. I've lost connection.
Yeah. And then just some of the little characters, like even Wheezy when he's singing I'm spacing on the guy's name from the Rat Pack that he's like singing like him.
Frank Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra. Like at the beginning, he's doing that, which I I can't remember. Does Wheezy die in like one of them, or
No,
like gets
no, no.
lost or
He
something?
The voice actor passed away.
Okay, so
yeah, they kind of phase him out in the third one. You don't really see him, but he gets a new squeaker at the end of the second one, and then we don't really see much of him after that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like how they kept around Slinky Dog even after Jim Varney passed away. But, yeah, Jim Varney, but they just let Blake Clark, one of his buddies, kind of do the voice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't a big enough character anyway.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Stinky Pete is a great character, and yeah, I think that like everything worked. Is this the one with the end credits with Mr. Potato Head Man? Like, is that this one? I think it's where like I factor Angry Eyes and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah, this one has the bloopers at the end. Which
the bloopers and all that.
Yeah,
so that's great too. So yeah,
I love when animated movies do bloopers.
No, yeah,
I think it's great.
They even have the one blooper in this one that references Bug's life when they like pass by the bush and you see like the caterpillar on the those characters in there. The bloopers are awesome. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say S tier. I like the original Toy Story a little better, but if that gives anything away, if I might rank it, but it's still S tier. So yeah. But
yeah, this is my favorite of the Toy Story films. I love a lot of humor in it with two brothers fighting each other. The little Easter egg with the Jurassic Park reference in Al's Toy Bar. Even love seeing Barbie pop up there. And also, fun fact, this was originally going to be direct-to video, but after they saw the "Wish You Love Me" sequence, it was going to be, they decided to put it in theaters, not a home video.
That would have been a big mistake to put it direct-to-video.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and this movie was almost lost completely. They lost the work print at one point. It was like erased from one of the computers, and the only reason they still had a copy of like the actual work print was one of the ladies who was working on it was pregnant and had a copy of the movie on her personal laptop, and they were able to save it. So this movie was almost lost completely. They almost lost like $100 million out of this movie. Yeah, just in a snap because of a technical error, and it was saved by a lady who had a copy of it. I don't even know if she was supposed to, but one of the technical CGI workers on it had a copy of it on her laptop and saved it. So look into it. It's a really fascinating story about how Toy
Story was going to get fired.
Almost never came to be. So yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Yes, too.
All right. Well,
that's
Jacob.
That is 5 clean sweeps. This is going to get interesting.
Ooh,
have we ever had that many clean sweeps before?
We've had a couple with like 5 or 6. Yeah, some of the horror movies or comedies here and there, but and then ranking them has always been tough because it's like, where do we start?
Right.
Like everybody has a different number one. Like I don't know where to start. So yeah, it's interesting. I have to kind of break it down by pieces. So we'll see. All right.
Yeah.
Ranking is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Like getting them into the S tier is not going to be hard. It's after that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There's some that I want to go for because like they're in my personal top 10, but I know how it's going to go. So maybe I'll save those for the Hail Mary. And I'll just go for one that I know at least a couple people are with me on. And that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
I will think The Hunchback of Notre Dame is also an S tier movie. I know some people might disagree. But I think, this is a movie that has gotten better every time that I've watched it. I think, Judge Frollo is a despicable villain. Probably Disney's creepiest villain. Quasimodo is a great character. I love, the music in this one. Again, all these 90s movies, Disney movies that had music, like they just nailed it. Again, it's got a quality villain song, which I think is something that I just love villain songs. I think it's just something about them and just, getting an insight, more insight into the character. I think it's great. It's dark. If this movie was rated G in the 90s, if it came out today, it would be PG. Maybe like there's no doubt about that. It's got some dark stuff, but it's great. I think one criticism that I see a lot is the gargoyles. I don't care. They're great comic relief. I love them. I love this movie, and it's gotten better every time I watch it. S tier for Hunchback.
Yeah. Well, Austin?
I'm 100% with Jacob. When we did our show and I rewatched Hunchback, which I hadn't seen at the time in like 25 years, this movie knocked my socks off. This movie's awesome. This was the biggest surprise when we went back and watched it. The animation is jaw-dropping, stunning. It's incredible the amount of detail it's put into it. I love the gothic score, the choirs and stuff, and sort of the operatic nature of it. Yeah, Tony J as Frollo is the darkest villain I've ever seen in Disney. I mean, he's literally like burning people in their homes. Like he's an asshole. Like he's a total bastard. And like, I'll defend the gargoyles in this, Jacob. My theory is that they are all in his head. They are not alive. It is a symptom of his psychosis of being locked in that tower for like 20 years. That he's talking to beings that don't exist. He's talking to these gargoyles that come alive in his head because nobody else sees in the whole movie. So I'll defend it in that way. It's these wacky personas he kind of made up to just cope with him being isolated from everybody. And yeah, Demi Moore is great in the movie. She was on fire in the 90s. And yeah, this movie's hella underrated. I wouldn't put it in the top of S tier. Like I'd put it, that's kind of 8-9 slot, just because these other ones I think are even higher and I've lived with them longer. But yeah, this movie's awesome. It should be in the S tier.
Yeah, so The Hunchback of Notre Dame was one that I learned to appreciate more as an adult. I feel like if it was a teenager or whatever age when it came out, I probably wouldn't be saying S tier, but I really learned to appreciate it, and especially because of the villain. Like, it has one of the best villains. And I'd argue that it's one of the most realistic villains because it's not like anyone with any magical powers or like wants to like take over the world. All that stuff, kind of similar to Gaston in that way, but I mean, way more evil, way. Like, this guy wants to commit genocide. He's like burning people in their homes, like Austin was saying, and like just some very dark stuff. Like the song Hellfire, that song's really, really creepy. And you talk about the music. The music's really great too. One Day More. That's a great song. I mean,
that's
and
what I miss, though.
It's a really good. Yeah. And like, the really great love story of like this guy that's kind of shunned, but he's shunned because people tell him that he's ugly and that he needs to just be locked away or like stay in this bell tower. But like if people weren't telling him that, I'm sure he'd probably come out and like interact and like just act like any normal person. But even with the hunchback or the way that he's deformed and stuff, but yeah, it just works really, really well. So yeah, I am going to say S tier. So,
Brian?
But Brian?
I'm going to give Hunchback of Notre Dame also S tier. Loved the music. Great. Hellfire was the best villain songs of the 90s for me. Great. Another film with Seinfeld reference. You get George Costanza as the gargoyle in this film. So, and yeah, I love dark tones. So I'll go S tier.
Yeah. Richie.
Yeah, I would have to go S tier. Yeah, again, it's one I came to appreciate later on. But yeah, I love the dark gothic nature of it. I love it, like where it goes for a Disney film. It was interesting. So no, I watched Nostalgia Critics a thing on it. Again, I'm referencing a lot, but like he was talking about remakes he wants to see, and he mentioned Notre Dame, and he acknowledged that there is a remake coming, but he wanted a remake of the stage musical, just way more adult, which is like way more violent. So I want to see that as well. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's just pipe dream, but that'd be cool.
Well, again, if you're gonna remake any of these ones, do the ones with human characters, so you can have humans in your movie, not ones where you're trying to turn these cartoony animals into like realistic animals that are boring and bland,
or like fantasy creatures, all that.
And Hunchback, has been done before, obviously with Lon Chaney Sr. back in the 20s, but like we haven't seen a lot of like adaptations of it. And if you're gonna do one, do this, do Pocahontas, do some of these movies with people.
Hercules.
Yeah, you could maybe even get away with Hercules, like maybe, but like it's leave Lion King alone, leave Aladdin alone, like leave these movies alone, and let's get these movies that deserve some attention on the original movies, And
if they really want to tell Pocahontas, it's going to be hard making it PG. I'm saying.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll find a way.
But yeah, I'm with you. S. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
And the song I was thinking of was actually out there. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, that song's good. The guy has a really good singing voice. So yeah.
All right, so
this is gonna be tough.
Man, yeah. All right, I'll talk about a movie I rewatched for this episode that I hadn't seen in ages, like literally ages, and I did a couple of rewatches for this. Let's talk about Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
So yeah, I rewatched it for this one, and I hadn't seen this movie. I think I saw it in the theaters, or I might have just seen it on video, like from Blockbuster. I can't remember, but I hadn't seen this movie in forever. And from like the opening sequence, like my jaw was on the floor. This movie rules. This movie's great. This movie's an S tier. Like this movie, the score was fantastic. The songs were actually good. Like I actually liked most of them. They were good character development songs, but the animation is what got me. I thought all the sequences from the opening sweeping stuff of everybody building the statues and everything was great. The voice cast is a stacked, A-list. I mean, Ray Fiennes, Val Kilmer, Patrick Stewart, Jeff Goldblum, Sandra Bullock. Oh my God, this thing is stacked. To the gills.
Keep going.
No, you can keep going. I could go for 10 minutes about this damn cast. Everybody is somebody in this movie. And I'm not a religious person, but I didn't care. I was just enjoying the movie for what it was. And man, there's that one sequence where the fog, the angel of death or whatever, like goes around the town. It's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in an animated movie, where it's like taking the breath out of the people in their beds and stuff. Like that's horrifying. This movie is really effective, really good. All the stuff with the Red Sea at the end is great. I'll go. Yeah, it's not going to be a high S tier just because it's just my first time coming around in a long time, but I'll still give it an S tier. I think Prince of Egypt was great. So yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. I mean, The Prince of Egypt is a banger. Like it's really, really good. I mean, yeah, there's even more of the stat cast. I mean, you throw in Jeff Goldblum. I don't know if you said Steve Martin and Martin Short.
No, they're like a duo that they kind of get almost lost in the shuffle, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Steve Martin and Martin Short being like,
yeah, right.
That's how stacked it is.
Hey Richie, do you remember their names?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a question I had on a recent trivia match, and
okay.
Yeah, and I just said Stephen Martin.
Yeah. And you also throw in Patrick Stewart in there. He's in it. So I mean, yeah, it's a stat cast, and then the music too. I mean, with like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, like when you believe, and then like the song when the mom's sending baby Moses down the river, like there's that, and then like I mean there's just so many, like Through Heaven's Eyes and like All I Ever Wanted, Playing with the Big Boys. I mean, like I think for an animated movie, this is up there with like The Lion King and Aladdin and like all that for on the music. The music is really, really good. But so yeah, it'll be an S tier. It may not rank as high for me also, but because just because of the caliber of what we have here, but I mean, it deserves S, I think. Yeah. Brian, are you there?
Brian ran away again. We'll come back to him. Richie, we'll go back to Brian.
Yeah, it's been such a long time since I've seen it.
That's why I made sure I rewatched this one, because I was like, I know it's
and
I had to. It was on Peacock. I had to watch this one. I had to put it on the priority list.
Yeah, I haven't. I liked it when I saw it. I really liked it, but I guess because I need to kind of refresh my memory of it. I can't get to the S tier for me, but I'll put it in an A because I did really like it when I saw it. I do remember liking it. So, but yeah. Maybe if I did my due diligence and watched it, it would be an S. But yeah, that's on me.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, what do you say?
Oh, absolutely S tier. I love this movie. Everything positive that's been said, I'm just gonna echo that because those are my thoughts. Yeah, it's got some dark dark moments. The music great, cast stacked, accurate. I think it's one of the more accurate movies based off the Bible. In my opinion, I think this is the best movie based off of a passage from the Bible. So easy S tier for me, but not like a this decade is just so stacked with great movies that I don't know if I would put it as high as some of these others. But like if this was released in the 2000s or 2010s, I could see it being making a case for that top 5. But I dread the end of the show. I'm dreading it.
Yeah,
I'm dreading it too because I don't know how the hell we're gonna start voting on these things, but we'll see.
Yeah, and
I got to figure that out and start thinking about that.
Yep.
And also, people forget that the score is a Hans Zimmer score too, so that's probably half the reason why the music's so dang good. So,
and Brian,
but,
Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, I'll give it S tier as well. I grew up watching this movie. It's a great retelling of Moses and Exodus. This was in my top 3 for begin, then moved on. It's still been 128, so I'll give it S tier all the way.
All right.
So they're unanimous.
No, it's a 4-1. 4-1.
Oh, it's a 4-1.
Yeah, so at least those final two right there, those are easy to rank. As
so
of
those
right
are easy
now.
to rank. Yeah, they're hanging out where they are, but yeah, those other ones are going to be rough. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about the 90s. There may not be a ton in the S tier, but the ones that are in the S tier are really, really strong. So
yeah. Jordan, where are you going next?
Let me actually consult my list. Let's see. I probably should have had it ready to go. It's my bad. Let me see. So I'll go with one that I watched for the very first time. There might be another one that I don't know if everyone's gonna agree with an S tier, but I think that it's that good though. And I don't know why I held off watching this because I'd seen the entire series, but I went and watched Batman: Mask of the Phantasm for the first time, and man, this movie good. It's just like what I want to see from a live action Batman movie because of how they deal with the Batman character. You get the perfect amount of him playing Batman and then Bruce Wayne, and it's just violent. It's like dark. It's gritty, and the scenes with the Joker are great. Like the only criticism that I have is that the Phantasm isn't in it enough, and it's not doing much. When the movie's literally called Mask of the Phantasm, I wish the Phantasm was doing more because you kind of just want to see him face off against the Joker because the Joker's great. Because for me, I think my favorite iteration of the Joker is actually the Mark Hamill Joker. I think that's my favorite one, and yeah, it's just really good, and you see it play out over a long period of time. Also, you get good flashbacks. You get all these different things that just work. You see him going up against the mob. You see him also a great mix of him being Batman and being the superhero side of Batman, but then the detective side. I think that it's the best kind of split that we've ever had of that. It's not too far one way or the other. It's a good balance. So yeah, I'm gonna go Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. So, and after watching it, makes you want to go back and rewatch the animated series because it's really good. But Brian, what do you say about Batman: Mask of the Phantasm?
I saw this film for the first time a few months ago. It's a good animated movie, but as of right now, we have the S tier. I would probably put it A tier for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Richie.
Yeah, no, I'd put it in S tier. I still think it's one of the best Batman animated films ever made. It's just, I think it's not even not even close. There's good ones, so don't get me wrong, but I think Master of the Phantasm is fantastic. Yeah, it holds up. It's great. And yeah, absolutely S tier. I think this was going to be my next pick. So again, going to find something else, but it's all good. But yeah, S tier.
You're going to talk about even more good stuff, but Jacob, what do you say?
This is how stacked the 90s is because I love this movie. but I have it just outside the top 10, which means I have it in an A tier.
Yeah.
Which hurts me to do because I think it's one of the best Batman movies that we've ever gotten. Like you said, the voice cast incredible. Yeah, some of those action scenes incredible. But man, this decade is so stacked. I love this movie, but yeah, it's an A tier for me. Any other decade, probably an S.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Oh man, that was a big loss for voice acting. But Austin.
So as much as I love the animated series, I'm in the minority on this one. This movie doesn't all the way work for me, and I don't know why it never has. I've watched this movie 4 or 5 times, and it never really clicks for me. And I think it's because I'm not into the phantasm stuff in this movie. I don't think it works. I'm not into the year one stuff they try to do in this movie. I think there's DC, animated features they've done recently that eclipse this movie by like a lot, like the Dark Knight Returns stuff they've done and Public Enemies and Apocalypse. Like some of the stuff they've done has
Killing
way
Joke,
eclipsed this stuff. Has way eclipsed this stuff. And to me, I go back and it feels kind of cheap. Like I think there are 2-part episodes on the series that would have made for a better movie, like Heart of Ice, like the Mr. Freeze stuff, like would have made for a better movie. I think the movie's good, but it feels like just an episode for me. It's never. I don't know. I know I'm in the minority. This movie's never quite worked as well for me as it does for everybody else. So I have to go like a B tier on this one. It's not one of my favorites. I think
that's fair. I can.
The animated series is like a S tier. If we do like series in the 90s or whatever, like 90s cartoons, the series is an S tier. It's one of my favorites of all time. I've never really clicked with this movie, and I don't know what it is. I can't get into it, so it is what it is, man. I'm just not as into it as somebody else is. I know I get shocked looks by the geekdom people and like the Schmodown when I say that on shows, and it's just like, oh, what? And it's
what?
Like, there's been way better Batman.
You have an opinion that's not mine.
Yeah,
It's not mine. Yeah.
How dare you think for yourself?
Horrible, right? Yeah. So. All right.
At least you're not like me, and you get hate comments. I don't know if you saw the other the trivia that I did. Someone put like a horrible, nasty hate comment that said I'm transphobic and like a bunch of stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? Where are you getting that from?
Just do what I do. Tell them to go fuck their mother.
Yeah, right. But the thing is, though, that's how you know that you've made it, because when people start to hate on you, then it's like, all right. I mean, someone's gonna do it eventually. So.
All right. All right, so we back down to Brian again, right? We're breezing through this thing. What else we got?
I'll go with a Goofy movie for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put an S tier for this one. This is a movie I grew up watching a lot. You usually feel for Max how I just want to go and spend time with friends, but then you feel no, just spend time with your dad. Just go on your fishing trip with him. You're getting your concert another time, but this movie is great. Emotional moments, some great first film like with all voice actors, no big major celebrities except for Pauly Shore, who's like uncredited. Great music with On the Open Road, Eye to Eye, Stand Out. So I'm gonna give it S tier.
Yeah, sounds good. Richie, what do you say about a Goofy?
Yeah, I love Goofy movie. It's a movie that I feel like on paper shouldn't work, and it does. And it's got great messages in it. I think the movie's really good. It just doesn't get to the S tier for me. It's not like an all timer, in my opinion. I mean, it certainly works better than an extremely Goofy movie. That movie's not good. But yeah, I would put it more of an A. But yeah, it's still a really good movie, and it's a good nomination. So I'll go A.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, what do you say about a Goofy movie?
I love a Goofy movie. I've talked about it on the channel before. Yeah, you totally understand Max when you're a kid, and then you totally understand Goofy when you're older. I mean, even for someone like me who's not a dad, but you understand, like, hey, just spend time with your dad. Yeah, the music is great. I love the road trip aspect of this. Eye to Eye is a banger of a song. Yeah, it's another one that I grew up with. I have really fond memories of watching this, not only with my family, but with friends. Like it's a movie that I've shared with friends, and we just have good times with it. So yeah, I'll go S tier as well. and now I'm really excited because this is the one that I know Austin rewatched, and we
yeah.
had a conversation earlier. So
So this is another one that I knew was going to come up, and much like the Emperor's New Groove on the last episode, I hadn't seen in 25 years or whatever, because I didn't grow up with this movie like a lot of people did. So I rewatched it, wanted to see how it would work. I'm gonna make some enemies. This movie's fine, much like Emperor's New Groove. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I don't know. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, but the power line stuff is great." That's like one scene, and it's fine. I don't know why teenagers would be obsessed with this Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown wannabe. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I thought it was gonna be like a rock band, and it's not. It's just like a dude. Like, I was like, what? Okay.
Powerline is just one man.
It's just a guy. That's weird.
That would be a cool name for a band.
No,
It would
I thought it was a band. I thought it was going to be like a rock band. It's not a rock band.
Like an offshoot of Power Man 5000.
Yeah, it's just like a dude in parachute pants. Like, it's weird. And yeah, it's no, it is. And I thought that the theme stuff with the dad and son is okay. But I thought it was like really predictable, and it just not a lot of it worked. I didn't laugh that much. I thought the Possum Park was funny. I'd like to go to a possum park. I thought that was the funniest thing, just how random it was. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make enemies, but it's like a C tier at best. I don't think this movie's that great. It's kind of like
This just in, the podcast about movies has been canceled.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's like Emperor's New Groove. If you grew up with it, I get it, but I didn't grow up with this movie. I watched it as a 37.
Exactly. Yeah.
It didn't work for me. I'm sorry. It just didn't work for me. It's okay.
Wait, so what'd you give it, Austin?
A C tier.
A C. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, though, like
Beavis and Butthead still makes me laugh at 37. That movie didn't. The Possum Park was the only thing that made me laugh. Yeah, that was it. And the fact that what's his name, the neighbor had like a RV with like a bowling alley on top of it. I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that he had like this tricked out, modern RV to go camping or whatever. Yeah, I thought that was funny, but that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the interesting thing that I'm kind of with you, Austin. I'm not as low on it because like I think that it's fine, but it's like people say like just give up your concert going on a camping trip. Why not do the camping trip next weekend? Why not do it another time? Why not just like let your son go to a concert?
How about let your son
been waiting for?
How about not like throw your kid immediately in the car to go on a camping trip? How about
just
watch this concert,
kidnap him,
then go on the camping trip? Yeah, how about give him a minute? Like he immediately throws him in the car and it's like we're leaving right now. I'm like, that's bad parenting, bro.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm sorry, I was thrown off by that. I was like, you got the whole summer to do like a road trip. Like let him hang out and get Mac on this girl for a minute. Like Roxanne, she was cute. Like let him Mac on her for a little bit. You immediately rip him away from the town and like where he can't hit on this girl. Like that was a dick move, man. He's cock blocking Max this whole movie. I don't like that.
Yeah, and also I don't find it like I don't know, just a crazy like super entertaining as far as like an all-timer movie goes. I wouldn't put it in like the same level as like a Toy Story and a Lion King and a Beauty and the Beast and all that. Like I just don't see that in it. Yeah. And for me, like I even like Goof Troop, that the animated show, almost better than this. There's some stuff that I think is even more fun and funny and entertaining than this. The Powerline stuff's great. Like I will say that. Like the Powerline stuff, but yeah, like it's just one or two scenes. I mean, and it is really good, and like I'll like bump that song even to this day. I actually like do kind of see, because it's a product of the 90s, and that's just like some of the pop music they're into back then. So I do kind of get it, and they're like trying to make pop music for a Disney movie, making it Disney style. So, so it is good. It's just not an all-timer. So I'm gonna say A for me. I'll still give it an A.
All right, so it'll be probably in the low A tier, probably below Mulan. It's got 2 and a C, so I think it'll be right in there. All right, we will go to
me.
Richie, right?
Richie.
Yeah.
Let's scroll down. Let's have a look. Yeah. All right. There's certainly ones that I could see going, but I'm going to pump for this. I don't know if it's going to go in the S tier, but I'll give it a go. I think it's still really good. Let's go The Iron Giant. I really dig this movie a lot. I rewatched it recently. Yeah, it's just a really cool watch. Yeah, it's just I sort of I don't know, it's a heartwarming story. I think Vin Diesel just it's just gonna sound like an insult. Vin Diesel works, but he doesn't say have many lines. He works as as a robot. You get the emotion out of it. It's really good. I like Hogarth as a character. I think like Harry Connick Jr. is a good bad guy. You got Cloris Leachman in there. I just think about everything about the sort of works, and you believe the friendship, the friendship between him and this robot, and it's quite heartbreaking. And I just think it nails the emotional beats really well. And it's a great watch, and I think it holds up. And I'm not that I want them to do it. I'm surprised, but I'm surprised they haven't done a live action on this yet. But I don't want them to do it, but I'm sure it's coming at some point. I'm going to punt for the Iron Giant. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It'd be like one of the kids from like It Chapter 1, and then like a CGI Iron Giant, and
that kid that's always in all the Stephen King adaptation. There's one dude that's always he was in that was it Mr. Harrigan's Phone? That dude,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
hey, look, if you're gonna do it, Vin Diesel's still around. At least get Vin Diesel to do the voice again.
Like he'll be looking for work after
now
the trilogy of Fast and Furious. So he wants to let that go.
Right. I'm sure he'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Richie, you stole my next pick. I love this movie, and I think everything you said is my thoughts exactly. So I'll keep it short and sweet and give it an S tier.
All right. This is another one that by the magic of
awesome.
Jordan, you're kind of laggy. Your tabs are open. But by the magic of a podcast about movies, this was one of the ones I rewatched. I rewatched, through our show, right? We did it for one of our anniversary things or something. Is that what we did?
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised at how much it worked. It's a very mature movie as far as like the screenplay, like the way people talk to each other. It's not dumbed down. Was the thing that struck me. I liked it a lot. I can't put it because I didn't grow up with this movie. Again, I didn't watch it over and over again. I can't put it in the same league as like a Beauty and the Beast or a Toy Story for me personally. So I'll go A tier. I think it's a really good movie. So hopefully I'm not making too many enemies tonight. But I do think it's a very good movie. Iron Giant is very, very solid. But I've only seen it total in my whole lifetime, like maybe like 3 times, total over, since 1998. So as opposed to I've seen Beauty and the Beast like 85 times. So it's one of those things. Same with Beavis and Butthead. So this is what it is.
That time I needed to look something up, so I was just letting myself be laggy for a second. But the Iron Giant's great. Like I think it's one of my favorite animated movies of all time. This is gonna be tough. This one might be an all timer for me. Like it's really, really good. There's just so many themes and messages talking about how the robot has feelings and can act for himself, and so therefore he has a soul, and talking about that aspect. And then the whole thing where we talked about guns, where he says I not gun, and they're saying how guns kill and all that stuff. So that's kind of ahead of its time, I feel like a little bit. And then near the end there's just some really powerful things and when he says I go, you stay, and he says I am Superman. He's talking about the Superman, and he goes up and sacrifices himself, and it's just really good and really powerful. And it's kind of it's a giant robot, but it's essentially like a boy and his dog type of story, and for me it just works really, really well. This is a movie that I didn't grow up with it when I was really young, but it kind of hit me when I became a teenager, and then really discovered it, and I went back to it all the time, and I love this movie now. So I'm gonna say S tier for the Iron Giant. Brian, what do you say?
I just rewatched Iron Giant a few hours ago, kind of listening to Raul as well.
Nice.
I would put an S tier as well. I'll put A tier. A tier for Unshine. Has great comedy. Christopher Doll plays a great villain as he always does in film.
Yep.
And I wouldn't mind seeing like a sequel, maybe like 20 years later, see him unite with the robots as well. So A tier.
Okay.
The 3D animated sequel, I'm sure it would be.
Yeah, right.
I also I made a mistake. Harry Connick Jr. is the on-sider. He's not the villain. It's Shooter McGavin. It's Chris.
Yeah.
It's Chris
Yeah.
McGavin.
No, he's a good villain. He's really solid. Yeah. No, around the same time. So yeah, we got Jacob. We got a 3 and 2. So it's kind of where it is, and we'll see if it hangs on. It might get bumped out.
Might be an honorable mention tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if it gets bumped. But that S tier
see what happens.
Filling up quickly. So Jacob, where are we going next? Yeah.
Let's see.
Let me look. Yeah, I got to do it. I mean, usually I'll go for movies I want to champion and movies that I just want people to, check out. But for the 90s, it's like I love all these movies and I want to talk about and champion them all. And they just happen to be my favorites. And The Nightmare Before Christmas is one of them. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, directed by Henry Selick.
Yeah.
Remember that. It's Henry Selick, not Tim Burton.
Kind of confusing that way how they title it. But
Don't give Tim Burton the credit for the whole movie. Like, yeah, sure, he has a part in it, but Henry Selick did a great job directing it. Stop motion, I think it's arguably my favorite form of animation because I think when it's done right, it's amazing. Like this one, Coraline, several others that I could get into, but yeah, I think this one is great. I think it's a great Halloween watch, a great Christmas watch. I can watch it both times of the year, no problem. The voice cast I think is really cool. The music is really good. That opening song, "This Is Halloween," I think is a lot of fun. I'm gonna go S tier. I know this is one that is, very mixed, so I'm curious to see where it lands, but I'm gonna go S tier.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you say about
this? Is a movie that has slowly grown on me over the years. I used to not dig it that much. I kind of like the animation. I like the character designs. I liked all the Halloween stuff because I was like a horror guy. So I liked all that stuff, and then. I loved the sequence where he would drop off like the messed up presents to everybody, like the evil presents. Like I love that sequence. But I do like this movie. It's crept up for me over the years. I do feel like there's a couple too many songs. I think they cram a lot of songs in this movie, and it's like there's like 2 or 3 too many to where it's like I wish they would just let the characters kind of breathe for a minute because it's just like they have like 2 minutes of dialogue in another song and like 3 minutes of dialogue in another song. I wish they would like relax a little bit. I hate when there's way too many songs in a musical and they don't let the characters breathe a little bit. But the songs I do like are great. This Is Halloween. The What's This song? The Boogeyman song is great. Like all that stuff is awesome. So it's like an A tier for me because it doesn't quite creep up into that S. I'll watch it around, I guess, Christmas / Halloween because you asked, hey, is this a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Watch it in November, just right in between.
Yeah. No, that's actually the perfect day to watch it. Is you watch it on November 1st. You watch it the day after Halloween, so you get a little bit of that Halloween vibe, but you get the push into Christmas. So and you get the Christmas spirit. So
you started at 11:55 on Halloween,
right? And then you push into it. Yeah. No, it's a perfect way to watch it. So I'll give it an A tier. It used to be like a C tier. I'll be honest. Like 10 years ago, this would be like a C tier, and it's crept up because I appreciate the animation. And the like I said, the character stuff and everything. But I'll give it an A tier. Like I do like it.
You're kind of making up for that C tier vote for a Goofy movie because I expected you to be a little lower on this.
No. I've crept up on it over the years. I watched it. One of the breweries showed it outdoors. That was fun. Like for Halloween, like a year or two ago, that was fun. It works enough for me. Yeah, I dig it.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So. I really like A Nightmare Before Christmas. I think that it's fun. I think that that the characters are really, really great, and it has a pretty memorable villain. I feel like Oogie Boogie, and yeah, like it's really cool how they how it's very Tim Burton-y as far as like the like creature designs and the world that he creates, and I really dig that. And yeah, for me, I think that like maybe take out one or two songs, but like it's not like a really a big complaint. I think that like I really like most of the songs in it, and they came up with a album of all the songs from Never Before at Christmas that like has a bunch of modern bands singing it. I actually kind of dug that too a little bit when I didn't think. I'm like oh, this is gonna be kind of dumb, and it actually was like pretty good. Actually, I dug it, and yeah, I think that when I went to Disney last year, I went for the Mickey's Not So Spooky Halloween party, and then did a whole thing with it. Where they brought out every single villain in front of the castle and did like a big like musical play. And actually, one of the main focuses was Oogie Boogie. Like he was a big part of it, and you don't get to see that. So that was a lot of fun to see. And yeah, for me, I don't quite put it in the S tier though. I'm like really close, but it's like a pretty high A for me. So I'm gonna go A. So, Brian, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with the rest of the panel. Like, I would give it A tier as well. Music is great. The story is fine, but overall for when we have an S tier to be stacked, I'll put it A tier.
Yeah, sounds good. Richie, what do you
I'm
say?
glad the consensus is A tier because I thought I was going to be the villain here, but yeah, cool. Because yeah, I don't have the heavy praise for other people do, but like, I still really like it. I think the animation's gorgeous, and yeah, yeah, and yeah, I always like yeah, Tim Burton's like animation, and Henry Selick does a good job directing, and yeah, I like some of the songs. I probably agree with Austin that there's a bit too many songs, but I do really enjoy it. It just doesn't get to that S tier level for me, but it is a solid A. So yeah.
You suck, Richie.
Yeah.
Okay. Only Mars is cancelled as well. You're on.
Yeah. So it's kind of Jacob's kind of in between Mulan and a Goofy movie right now, kind of somewhere in there at the moment on the consensus. So there you go.
There's still hope.
Yeah, there's still hope. We'll see.
Mention.
But those low S tiers could get bumped down to that honorable mention because it's so stacked. We'll see. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm playing strategically now. Everything's a D.
So all right. So Jacob, that B tier is looking really lonely, and I think I've got a perfect movie for it. So let's go with the movie I watched for the first time for this one on 4K. Let's go with Ghost in the Shell for B tier. So. And I've got a reason why. So I wanted to kind of, I Akira was kind of a, discovery in the 80s one that we did, in the 80s and previously that blew me away. And like I voted for S tier. Like that was great because I liked both the look of it and the story was great. It had that dystopian sci-fi, like weirdness that I like. This one was like, looked amazing and had great visuals, but I had no idea what the hell was going on and no idea about the story. Like watching this movie, it makes no sense. Like the story is wacky and all over the place. It's all this like cyber. It's like Johnny Mnemonic. It's all this like cyber terrorism and people hacking into each other's brains and.
It's a bit better than Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, it's slightly better than that, but like I might prefer Johnny Mnemonic just because it's a little more rewatchable. So like visually it's great, the score is good, like there's great stuff in it, but because the story I couldn't latch onto it, like I couldn't latch onto the characters. Technically it's amazing, which is why I can't go too low with it because it's really, really great, and I'm glad I watched it, but I probably won't be going back to this one as much as I will Akira. So this is like a perfect B tier for me because it's got both the pros and the cons kind of balance out for me to like the B tier. So I'm gonna go B tier for Ghost in the Shell. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually also watched Ghost in the Shell for the very first time, and I'm kind of along the same lines. I think that it like it had some really cool ideas and like things that it was trying to do with these kind of like robot kind of, I don't know, like cyborg kind of creatures, and they call them the shell, and how they could take over like new bodies and new shells or whatever. But yeah, like I was just confused as to like what was even happening
really confusing.
by the end.
It's a really confusing movie.
Yeah, by the end, I'm like I don't even know what just happened. It looked really cool, and like it had some cool action scenes, and I was just trying to look up what the live action one, because I've actually never seen the live action one, and now I'm kind of curious because I'm hoping they went R, but I thought I saw PG-13. I can't remember, but because like it should be R if you're gonna do this right, but yeah, it's just kind of like I don't know, like I really want to advocate for it, but like for me, like I'm not a big anime guy, so to really impress me with the anime, you gotta like be like an incredible animated.
You got to be Akira.
Movie.
You got to
Yeah,
be
you gotta-
Akira. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to
that's
be
my
like
standard. Yeah,
like the best of the best animated
Yeah.
movies, or else I'm just not going to be in. So yeah, you got to be like Akira, or I mean, I can't really think of like maybe Grave of the Fireflies on that level for me, but yeah, this one, I actually wanted to see where I did my pre-ranking, because I think for what I want to give it now, yeah. That sounds about right for me. I give it about a B. Like I would agree with that. B is a good spot for it. So yeah, but Brian.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to find to watch for this episode. I couldn't find anywhere to follow streaming, so I haven't seen. I want to see that one, so I haven't seen it.
That's fair.
Yeah, for us, I think it was on like HBO Max. Maybe I can't remember exactly where.
I had bought the 4K before the show. Like I wanted to give it a good chance, so yeah, I bought it for like $10 somewhere online for like a 4K.
Oh, okay.
That's how I watched it, but I think it's streaming somewhere, but I can't.
Oh no, I actually watched it on Tubi. They have it there
on YouTube also.
Okay.
But
yeah,
Also on YouTube, okay.
But YouTube has the actual like the one with the subtitles. If you go to Tubi, it's the dubbed version, and maybe that would up my enjoyment. I started off watching subtitles, but then I was like, I don't have enough time to just sit here. I got other things to do, so I had to switch over to the dubbed version. So yeah, but Richie, yeah, what do you say?
Yeah, I probably like Ghost in the Shell a bit more than you guys. I do dig it. I could follow a little bit, but yeah, I definitely don't fault people for getting lost in it. It is it is hard to follow. Certainly, I in my opinion, well, easier to follow than that stupid remake we got in 2016. I hated that version. Yeah. And I watched it twice. I don't know why. Anyway, just I thought maybe it had guilty pleasure qualities to it. So you watch it again, like, nah, it's just a bad movie. Anyway, yeah, and no, go. I think this movie works, but yeah, okay, it's not for everybody. But I love the animation style. Yeah, I love the voice acting. Yeah, I like a lot of aspects to it. So I would go A, but B is probably a good spot for it too.
Yeah, for me, like it kind of played out more like a video game almost. Like seemed like I was watching an adaptation of a video game, maybe. But Jacob, what do you say?
I also have not seen this. I wanted to, just couldn't find the time.
Okay. Well, an A and two Bs, but I'm trying to expand my horizons, guys. I'm not the anime guy.
Same.
For each of these shows, I've tried to watch what is considered one of the most high-profile things. You know, Akira. This is pretty highly considered for the 90s, from what I saw. Yeah, I'm trying. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm giving it a shot.
Yeah,
they're not all working. It's about the same as what it was before. Some work, some don't. So it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Akira
I'll just say that
the show didn't work. So yeah,
I'll say that I watched another anime that is not gonna get brought up because I just didn't think it was that great. But yeah, I can tell you guys later. But what it was. But yeah,
I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was going to, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it either.
I have it on Blu-ray. I haven't watched it yet, so I just didn't get time.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those ones. I didn't like it, but I can see other people maybe digging it. I don't know.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah. So I want to go with The Bug's Life. So I want to nominate for the S tier because I think A Bug's Life is great. And I think it's one that kind of gets overlooked because it was like I think like the second Pixar movie to come out, and
second one.
Yeah, and like I think maybe the like premise kind of, I don't know what it is that like throws some people off about A Bug's Life.
And it also came out around the same time as another one that's on this list. So and it's sort of like
the dueling bug movies. Yeah.
At the same time as Ants, which I think this one's the far superior one.
This movie is better, yes.
Yeah, and like I really like a lot of the characters. I really like the well, probably my favorite character is the ladybug, but it's a boy and it's not a girl, and like that's a whole thing in it too. I think that Dave Foley does a great job playing Flick, and I even like the two little, like, if they're fleas or like what they're like little brothers. I like that a lot of it comes from like a circus, and then I also like that they make grasshoppers villains, because I freaking hate grasshoppers. It's just something that, when I was a kid, that like I actually have a fear of grasshoppers.
There's something creepy about. Have you ever seen close-up pictures of grasshoppers? It's really creepy.
Yeah, they're freaking terrifying with those like bug eyes and yeah. Like it just freaks me out, because as a kid they would like I would be out like in a field, and like you see a grasshopper sitting there, all of a sudden it just launches itself in like any direction, and like I've had them launch onto my face. I've had them. Yeah, it's just
Joe Rogan's made good points about.
Thank you.
We're so lucky that some of these bugs aren't like 6 feet tall, because that would be terrifying.
Yeah, right.
If praying mantises and grasshoppers and ants were like people size, that would be horrifying. It'd be a really weird world to live in.
Yeah. But I also really like Heimlich, or like the big blue beetle guy. I like so like there's a lot of fun characters in it, and I think Kevin Spacey makes a great villain. I mean, what you want about him, but yeah, like he's played a lot of villains in real life and in movies, but but yeah, I would say that it's an S tier. I think that it's one that just gets overlooked. Like I even went to the back in the day when they used to have a live show at the Disney parks. They're really cool Bug's Life one. I don't think they do it anymore.
There's a TV show of it.
Yeah, so S tier. But Brian, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Bug's Life person. My least favorite Pixar movie is a C tier.
Really?
Ooh, whoa,
all right.
Yes, I have never been a fan of it.
Okay.
Well, Richie, what do you say?
I wouldn't go that far as a C tier, but yeah, it's definitely not. Like I think it overlooked because it's I don't find it as memorable as a lot of the other Pixar movies.
It's overshadowed by Toy Story.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. I really enjoy it, and like the voice acting is very good. I think the music's alright. Hayden Panettiere's in this movie is like I think she's 8 years old, and she got nominated for a Grammy for her song. So yeah, good trivia. But yeah, I think it's a good movie. I remember playing the PlayStation game that came with this. It was alright. It was good. But just it's someone I just go back to. But it's a solid movie. I'd say B.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, what you say?
So, in my Pixar rankings, I have this at 19 out of 26. Wow. But that's not saying that I don't like the movie, because I think, 1 through 20 are all, like I said, they've got 20 like great movies. And so I still really enjoy A Bug's Life. I think the story is a lot of fun. Voice cast, really good. And the villain, solid villain. This is one of those movies that, if somebody said, let's watch A Bug's Life, I'll be like, okay, let's watch A Bug's Life. So I think this is like, it's a perfect B tier movie for me.
Yeah. Austin.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is one I've only probably seen 3 or 4 times in my life. I remember seeing it in theaters, and then I saw it once or twice here and there, mostly just on TV. I never owned it. But when you grow up and you go back and watch it, there is a good story about these ants rising up against their oppressors, essentially, like realizing that there's strength in numbers, and they've got the thousands, and it's just to get to a couple of dozen grasshoppers, and they realize they can overcome them. It's a good little story. It's got some funny stuff. I like the world they set up. Yeah, it's just, again, not one of the Pixar movies I go back to a lot, but I don't think it's bad. I'll go a little higher than you guys. I'll say A tier. Like I think it's an A tier, decent movie. Better than people kind of give it credit for. But I can't put it in A tier just because I don't think it's on Toy Story level, but it's still pretty good. So
right. So We got an S, an A, a couple B's, and a C.
Yeah, it's like low A territory, maybe even below Goofy movie or something like that. Yeah.
Most of the A's, yeah.
So we've got about 10 more minutes to the 2 hour mark. If we go quickly, everybody can get another quick, like regular.
Yeah, we can do a quick one.
Everybody's okay with that? We can go very, very quickly.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
All right.
yeah. Brian?
Let's see what's left. I would go with Anastasia for this one, and I'll give it A tier. Another Don Blue film in the 90s. I'm going with Italian on the story of Anastasia. Great animation, great voice work by Angela Lansbury, Kristen Dunst, John Cusack, and Christopher Lloyd as villain Rasputin. Some great music. Darker Night is one of the best villain songs on the film, so I'll give it A tier.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Richie, what do you say about Anastasia?
I like the movie. I do tend to kind of forget about it sometimes, but yeah, so it doesn't stick with me as much as other movies. So I would probably put it in the more B tier than A tier. But yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, Jacob, what do you say?
This to me feels like the most like 90s Disney movie without actually being a 90s Disney movie. I think it's great. I really love this movie. I'm not quite on the S tier, but like a really high A for Anastasia.
Yeah. Austin, what do you
say? This was the last one I was gonna try to squeeze in, but I didn't get a chance to. I got caught up with some other things. So I kind of have to abstain. I know I've seen it at some point in my life, but I couldn't tell you a thing about it. Like I could not tell you things. So I'm gonna abstain actually. I couldn't tell you anything about it to make enough of a judgment call on it. So I'm gonna abstain from this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Like it's fine. I think it's a fine movie. We are right. Like it does feel like maybe they might be a Disney movie, but I think it's like Fox or something like that. Or
it's Bluth. It's Don Bluth. It's just you know, it's the other company. Yeah, it's probably one of his better outings of the '90s. He had a lot of shit in the '90s. Yeah.
Yeah, it says here that it's the first 20th Century Fox animated feature to be produced by its own animated division. Kind of interesting, but I think
it was directed by Don Bluth. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he still did it. Yeah. So, but I think I don't know. Like, yeah, it's very forgettable to me. I just remember the Once Upon a December. Like, it's something that I added to my Christmas playlist. That I think that song's kind of cool, but it just doesn't really do that much for me. So, I think I'm gonna say C for me. So,
okay. All right. So 2 A's, a B, and a C.
Maybe like
right where it's at. Right where it's at.
Yeah.
Kind of bottom of A tier, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
probably go to B eventually anyway.
Yeah, it might get bumped eventually anyway. So yeah, we'll see. All right, Richie.
All right. Cool.
Pick.
Let's go Brave Little Toast. That's a sequel, isn't it?
We already talked about the original one. That was in the 80s.
Oh, damn it. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about that. It just
go for a sequel if you want.
You want to go to Mars? Yeah, you want Mars?
No, I don't. Fern Gully.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it S. I put it A. I think for Fern Gully, I like the world it creates. I think it's a sort of great story, and this is Robin Williams before he was Genie, sort of almost his audition for Genie in a way. I think he's really my name is Becky. I just loved it when I was a kid. Wore it the VHS tape, and I think it's
Betty. Really the logic is erratic.
Logic is erratic. I really dig it, but I don't know if it's S tier worthy, but I think it's worthy talking about, so I'll go A.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you say?
Baddies Rap is S tier, but the movie, I'd give it a solid A. Robin Williams has a great voice performance, and Hexus is just like really creepy. So Yeah, I'd give
Voiced
it a solid A.
by Tim Curry.
Tim
Yeah.
Curry, yes.
So sounds good, Austin.
I know I've seen it once in my life at some point, probably in school. I don't remember shit about this movie like, at all, other than Robin Williams was a voice. I just remember being amongst all the environmental stuff of the early '90s, like Captain Planet, and it was this thing, and just everything was about the environment in like the early '90s, and acid rain and all the rainforest shit. And you never hear anything about that anymore 30 years later. It's weird, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's weird because we kind of probably need more of that than never. And then, we didn't need it much.
And we trailed off of that now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But this is another one I'll probably just have to abstain because I don't remember a damn thing about this movie. I probably should rewatch it. It's only 70 minutes. Wouldn't take much of my time. But yeah, I don't remember anything about it. I'll abstain.
Yeah. So I, funny enough, watched this a lot as a kid because my best friend was obsessed with it. My best friend Mike, growing up, like he was obsessed. He knew the entire rap by heart. He knew, and he could quote this movie, and like we just watched it all the time when I went to his house. And the cast is great. I mean, even throwing Christian Slater as a voice, you throwing Tone Lock, like he's in there, and then you have Cheech and Chong doing some side characters in there too. So I mean, it's a fun little movie. I actually really like it. A lot of it's like more of a nostalgia thing because like it was one that like I didn't watch it at home, but then my friend was like, "You got to check this movie out. It's really, really good." Robin Williams and stuff, and like, yeah, this movie's great. So I'm actually going to give it an S tier, but it's going to be a low S. Like it'll be like near the bottom, but I'll still say S. So. Brian,
haven't seen this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So A tier. I can see why Richie would watch it. It's set in Australia.
yeah.
It's literally
with that logic, I could have gone with Rescues Down Under, but I didn't.
Don't never say never, Richie.
I know you'll get. That's probably
the mini rainforest in Australia. Like I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean they're not rainforest necessarily, but
I'm just looking at the synopsis, and it literally says. Krista is a fairy who lives in Fern Gully, a rainforest in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if that's. Yeah, hang on. Fern.
All right. Well, Jacob, you're up next.
Yeah, there's two more that I have in mind for S tier. I think I'll go James and the Giant Peach.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, another one that it's got that stop motion style that I love. I just like this fun adventure going across the ocean. Great music again. You guys could argue if you want about the live action animation, does it count or not? If it doesn't count, cool.
I don't care. I think it counts.
I think there's enough of it because it literally turns into an animated movie for like an hour. So I mean, it starts out as like live action, but because the
we've got another one that's on here that I'm gonna get in the same
because
vein.
it turns into pretty much an entire animated movie for a good chunk of it. I will count it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd count it. It's
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, I've been nominated for the S tier, and this is another one where I'm curious where people land on it because I know I'm higher on it than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're probably a little higher on than I am. I'll give it an A tier. I do like James and the Giant Peach. I think it's pretty solid. It's not one I go back to as much as like Nightmare Before Christmas. I do remember the stepmoms or whatever like freaking me out like when I was a kid, and they never explained what the rhino thing was. Like, what the hell did the parents die of? Did they literally get charged by a rhino in Africa or something? Like, I don't understand. Like, they never explain what the hell that means. I don't know. It always bugged me. But yeah, so no, I'll count it as an anime movie and I'll say A tier.
Yeah. So I grew up reading a lot of the like Roald Dahl books as a kid, like, and for some reason, like this is not the way that I pictured in my head whatsoever. I'm just kind of like, whoa, this seems like way different than whatever I pictured. The only thing that seems normal is that there's a giant peach, and the peach kind of has some rooms in it, and like some things that they're like doing within the peach. But I mean, but it's still fun though. Like I dig the the like animation style. I think that's fun. I also and like slowly the older that I get, I'm like learning to appreciate more stop motion stuff because I think that that's a lot of fun. Yeah, the whole thing with the spider is like pretty creepy. But I think that yeah, that it works to a point for me, but just I mean, for me, like as a kid seeing it and like having it been so off in the book in my own mind, I mean, probably in a lot of other people's mind it could be spot on, but for that and like all the reasons I said, I'll go B tier probably.
Brian?
So, Brian.
Yeah. I enjoy James Peach a lot. Where I don't understand that creepy old man like stalking James, giving like the whole bag of worms or something.
That's Pete Postlethwaite, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, if you remember, you go back and watch it. It's Pete Postlethwaite. He's great.
Yeah. Overall, I would put an S tier. I'll put an A tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Richie?
I do really like James John Peach. Yeah, I would go to. I remember like back when I was a kid, I'd go to after school care like YMCA or whatever, and then like they'd always put this movie on, like as for the kids, So I put James John Peach on. So within like a probably. I'd go there every second day. I think within a week I saw it probably 3 times. Like, man, get some more variety in your movies.
I'm the same way. I think in like middle school or something, it was one of the 3 or 4 videos we had. So like I got a lot of play for like a year. I saw it a lot. Yeah, and then I was good for like a long time. I was like, I've seen this movie enough. I'm good.
Yeah. But yeah, I do really like it, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. I've given a rewatch since then. And I do really like it. Yeah, it's like it's not S tier for me, but I would go strong A. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1, 3, and 1. That's a tier. Right in the middle.
A tier.
All right. Yeah. And for my regular pick, you just alluded to Richie. Let's go Rescuers Down Under for S tier. Because I think this is a sneaky S tier, and I think the animation in this one again is fantastic, especially the opening shot where it kind of zooms in. Across the plains and things like that.
Yeah.
I like Cody as a kid. Like I think he works. McLeach, man, George C. Scott as McLeach is one of the most underrated villains in Disney history. He's great. He's a savage in this movie. He's great. Joanna, his little sidekick, is a lot of fun. A lot of sequences are good. It's another movie that gets pretty dark. Like he flat out tries to murder the kid a couple of times, and with the crocodiles. And you know what I like about this movie? I don't remember any songs in this movie. I don't think there are. I don't think it has no musical aspects at all. And John Candy is great as the albatross, and Miss Bianca and Wilbur. Like they're all great. Fantastic group of characters. Like I think this movie's hella underrated. It's always been one of my favorites. So I'll go S tier for Rescuers Down Under. Gets lost in that shuffle because it was like 1990. It was right in between Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. So it's like lost in the shuffle all the time. You always forget about this movie.
Yeah. Like I really like the Rescuers Down Under. I think that's great, and like for whatever reason, I just dig that opening scene when it's like shooting through the grass. As a kid, I would just rewatch that scene. I just found it
stand in front and like try to run and shit, like in front of the screen.
Yeah, like you're trying to run with it. Yeah, exactly. And then McLeach too. Yeah, home on the range where the deer and the antelope play. Where I cut through their sides and I rip off their hides. And the next thing I do it again. Like that's fun stuff. And like I really dig John Candy. You got Bob Newhart playing Bernard. And I think that this movie's leaps and bounds better than the original Rescuers. Like
way better.
Like that first one, I just don't even care about. I'm just kind of like it's just fine. But this one's really, really good. I think that it works. And this is one that I watch all the time when I was a kid. So I'm going to say S tier. Yeah. So, Brian, what do you say?
Yeah, I also would give it S tier. It's a better sequel than the first one. I remember anything the first one. This I remember Cody, the whole opening sequence, McLeach, the characters I remember. Love seeing John Candy appear in this film. And it's a very underrated film from the Renaissance. So, S tier.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, do you guys remember Travel Agents? Because my dad used to work in a travel agency. At the beginning of the movie, they go to a travel agency to see where they want to fly, and then then John Candy is the albatross, like just flying.
Kind of unnecessary when everybody has the internet on their phone.
Yeah, right. Like that whole thing got phased out.
During the show, if I wanted to book a flight, I could book a flight on my phone in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, like
necessary now. Yeah.
Yeah, like basically travel agents went extinct, kind of. But
I still got a couple of friends who are travel agents, but yeah, I do.
It seems like it should have been extinct by now. Yeah.
Even during pandemic, I'm surprised that they're dropping things out. But I didn't go with this earlier because I don't want to be obvious. But because it's Australia. But yeah, by the way, Fern, there's no rainforest called Fern Gully in Australia, but it is based on various rainforests in Australia. There's no rainforest specifically called Fern Gully. There you go. But yeah, Rescuers Down Under is great. It's one of the better animated sequels. Have you done like best animated sequels or tournament fights or something?
No,
so, that could be because we want to do direct comedy sequels. We could do direct animated sequels. We could do all that kind of stuff.
Because I think Rescuers Down Under could probably be a good contender for that. But,
they have a hard time beating Toy Story 2. That would be tough.
Or being
there's competitors there, but like I don't know, Rescuers Down Under is a really great sequel. So yeah, definitely superior to the original, and I like it a lot. So yeah, S tier.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that like eventually I want to do best animated characters, but that's a lot to tackle. Like I got to think about how we would do that. That's going to be a lot.
Like a tier ranker or something.
Yeah. It would have to be a tier ranker, but you got to find a way to break that up. I don't know
like
how
a
we're going to do it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. But Jacob, what do you say?
Yeah, this is another one that I enjoy more every time I watch it. It's gone up. Not quite to the S tier for me. I do think it's a fun adventure movie, but a really good villain. But I have it at the A tier right now.
Okay. Well, it's above Iron Giant, right in the middle of that pack right there. So it does make the S tier. Last minute. There you go. Jordan, what's your final regular pick before we go into the Hail Marys?
So my final one, I got to go with kind of more like a like personal pick here, just to see if I can talk anyone into it. But I want to go with the Page Master. So this is one that if you know me, I'm a huge Home Alone fan. I'm a big Macaulay Culkin fan, and like I really like seeing that. And it's another one that you could argue
it's a very James Gunn peachy.
It's because the opening 10 minutes is live action, but I would argue there is a good hour where it's all animated, so I would count it. I would say it counts.
Yeah, even longer than that. Yeah, like it. For like quite a lot of it, and it's one as a kid that like really advocated for like reading too. So like this is a movie that actually got me to read more after watching it, and I really like the voice cast because you have Patrick Stewart. I'm also a big Patrick Stewart fan. He played the adventure book, and then you got Whoopi Goldberg doing fantasy, and then you got I believe that it's Frank Welker doing the voice of the horror, and actually worked really really well. And like it's something that like in the beginning, you have Ed Begley Jr. playing the dad with Macaulay Culkin trying to build a treehouse, and like that's something like. I've had tree houses, but I've never been able to get my dad to help me with it. I always had to build them myself. I just get a bunch of friends together and be like, well, let's try and build a tree house. And like, I do it all the time in like several different places where I live. But my dad just never really wanted to be a part of that, which is fine. I don't really care. But and then you even have Leonard Nimoy doing Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, and I think that it's a lot of fun. It's got some good feels in it. Like there's even some things where you think one of the characters maybe dies in it, and it gets pretty dark too. So I'll say S tier for Page Master. Brian, what do you say?
I would put S tier. I'll put B tier for me. It's kind of like a forgettable movie from the 90s. It's fine, not the best of the 90s. So I'll put B tier.
Yeah, that's fair. Richie, what do you say?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I like it enough. It is fun. Yeah. And I was like, big Macaulay Culkin fan back then. But yeah, I can't put it at S tier, but I would probably go B tier as well. It's a good movie, but yeah, I don't put it up there with some of the greats that we've got already. So I put it at B.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you say?
I feel like I've seen this. don't remember anything about it, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna sit this one out.
Yeah, that's fair. Austin.
Yeah, this is one I just always would occasionally see on TV here and there. I remember being more into the live action stuff at the beginning than the actual animated stuff once they jumped into that. Like I remember his bike having like headlights on it, like being kind of cool. Like he had like
Yeah.
this little bike at the beginning, and Christopher Lloyd being a weirdo like librarian, you know, or
Yeah,
whatever.
the librarian guy.
Bouncing around the library, being kind of creepy and weird. But when getting into it, like it being very fantasy, and I'm not a big fantasy guy, it felt like that Dragon's Lair arcade game, like as an animated movie. It was kind of strange like that. So, yeah, I was never super into it, but it's not bad. I'll give it a B tier as well. Yeah, I'll go B.
So, do you guys remember when they tried to make libraries like a cool thing, a cool place to be? Now that's like no one goes to the library. It's like a bunch of homeless people
and like all this stuff. Yeah,
at my local library for the homeless thing out.
Yeah.
It's an S and 3B, so it's probably top of B. Yeah, it's about Michelle. All right. So let's get into the Hail Mary last chance round. You guys kind of know how this works, so I don't need to explain too much. But start looking at your list. Name me anything you think is still either S tier or like kind of a strong A, something like that. Just anything you want to shout out last minute. I will write them down, and we'll see if anything makes those high tiers last minute. So you guys know how it works. That's how it goes.
You guys, I got to do it once because I think it's going to be a tough one for for ranking the S tier. So I got to do it once. I'm only going to do it once, I promise. But
social studies division, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be a tough one, guys. Here we go.
Can you scroll up, or is it?
That's all of them.
That's all of them? Oh, shit.
Yeah,
All right. No worries.
He kind of backed out so we could see all of them. Yeah, everything that's left. So, yeah, it's in the chat or it's right there. Whatever you guys got left. I'll give you a second. Whoever's ready, just tell me you're ready. I can go first. I've only got 2. I would shout out. Not even for S tier.
I could be ready, too. So
I'll shout out for a strong A. 5 Goes West and the DuckTales Treasure of the Lost Lamp. That's all I got.
Yeah.
So 5 and DuckTales. That's all I got.
I got mine, so I could.
All right, Jordan, hit me.
I'm just gonna scroll through what I have here. I'll say the Rugrats movie. Okay, for that. Let's see. I'll even say Aladdin and the King of Thieves. We'll go with that. The straight to video one. Or actually, was that one in theaters? Maybe the King of Thieves was in theaters. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't think either of the sequels were.
I don't think either of them were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I even have any more. I don't know if I even have any more. To be
you don't, that's fine.
Honest.
We may not. We'll see.
I got 5.
Yeah.
Well, second the DuckTales Treasure of the Lost Lamp because I had that VHS and I practically wore it out. So.
Yeah.
But that's it for me. Usually I'm the guy with a lot, but
all right.
Yeah, I've got 5.
Go ahead, Richie. I got you.
I got Pokemon.
Which one?
Yeah, Pokemon the first movie.
Okay, first.
Pocahontas. Rugrats. The Rugrats movie. Yeah, Rugrats movie. South Park. 5 Goes West and DuckTales.
I can go next if you want.
Yeah, hang on.
And also, can I second 5 Goes West? I'll add that one too. I think that
sounds good. All right. Brian, go ahead.
I'll also go King of Thieves.
Okay.
I'll go Balto.
Also.
South Park. 5 Goes West.
Okay.
And Hercules.
Oh yeah, I'll put Hercules as well.
God, you guys are killing me. Oh, that one's it. All right, Jacob, what you got?
It doesn't really matter because I'm the only one that's going to say it, but it's really the only one I've got left for S tier, and it hurts me that it's not going to be on there. It's Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need more anime fans or
I do.
Ghibli
Right,
fans.
Watching my Japanese classes.
I've kind of been listening. So
Yeah, I
I
remember I had a really nice nap through my college classes. That count?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay. Anything else? No?
That's it.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so give me about 30 seconds. Let me cross-check this, and then we will get to doing the ones that had crossovers. Give me just a second.
Might be quick, yeah.
Yeah,
Which, like, I kind of thought that's how the '90s were gonna go. We're gonna have some like absolute like bangers, and then it's gonna be like nothing. So
I heard 5. So if
yeah, I think I've got something like that. Let me see. It's gonna be close. Let's see.
What do you mean no one picked Fantasia the movie 2000? That almost put an F tier.
Oh,
but it
come
didn't.
on.
oh yeah, that's an F for me. That's one of my few Fs. I don't have many Fs, but that's an F for me.
I'd go
Okay.
D for that one, just because I think the musical sequences are still pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got 6 that had crossovers, but this will be quick. I don't know if any of them will actually make it up there. We'll see. So quickly, these are just we go around the horn, same order every time. Just give me a letter. Rugrats, Brian.
A.
Okay. Richie.
A.
Jacob.
B.
B. I'll abstain. I don't think I've seen it.
Okay,
Jordan.
I'll say A.
Okay, 3 A's and a B.
So make it into A.
And low, mid A, something like that.
Yeah.
Probably low A because some of those had S tier votes and the A tier.
Yeah, I put the bottom of A right now.
Aladdin and the King of Thieves, Brian.
S tier.
Really, Richie.
It's not S tier to me. It's C.
Jacob.
B.
I like Return of Jafar better, so I'll go C for King of Thieves.
I'll say A.
Okay, so S, A, B, 2 C's. Yeah, I don't know, B tier.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the DuckTales Treasure of the Lost Lamp movie, Brian.
C.
Richie.
A.
Jacob.
A.
I'll go A.
I'll say S because it has some like other fun segments where like they're like underground, those little roly poly balls and all that stuff. I think it's fun.
All right, so S, 3 A's and a C. It's kind of mid low
A.
A. 5 will goes west. Brian.
It's number 138. S tier.
Oh, that's right. I won your tournament.
Yeah, I did.
A.
Jacob.
A.
Yeah, I love it, but I it's A tier. I can't put it on the same level as like Beauty and the Beast and Hunchback, just aesthetically, but it's A. Jordan.
I'll say S, but it's a low S. But I'll say S.
Okay, 2 S's, 3 A's. Okay, it's actually probably in the upper half of the A's then, Jacob, because they had 2 S's, 3 A's. So it's probably up near. What did a Goofy movie have? It's like up near Batman, maybe. Yeah,
Really?
or Mulan. Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it ends up. Yeah. Okay. All right. South Park. Brian.
S.
Okay. Richie.
I know he's going to bring this down, but S.
Yeah.
This is the one I'm going to be harsh on. D.
Oh,
Ooh. I'm Austin.
Yeah, I fucking hate that this movie's a musical. D. I fucking hate. I can't stand this movie. I've tried. I can't. It just needs to be a movie. I hate that it's a musical. I don't like the songs. D. Yeah.
I don't love it, but I wouldn't rank it that low. I would say B. So it's not going to do anything.
it's probably just
B tier. It's B tier, right in the middle.
2 S's, 2 D's, a B. Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah.
And the last one will be Hercules. Brian.
Hercules.
S tier.
Okay, Richie.
A.
Jacob.
B.
Yeah, go B. When I rewatched it, it was fun. It was okay.
Yeah, I don't have the same love some people do. I know people who are obsessed with this.
Yeah,
I have
I'm not
cousins
obsessed
who
with it.
it's like their favorite movie of all time. I'm gonna say B. I have more fun playing it in Kingdom Hearts than watching them.
They had a good PlayStation 1 game. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It'll be like right under Rugrats in A tier. It barely scoots in there, but barely. Okay. All right. So, all right. Here's what we got to start with. So we actually do have. What is it? We have 10 in the S tier. We literally have 10 in the S tier. So
Hey, the Iron Giant made it.
It did. So
yeah,
the Iron Giant.
let's go.
Yeah, Iron Giant with a 3 and 2. That will literally be the one that stands out for number 10 spot. So it's literally going to be exactly where it is at number 10. So let's before we get into the S's, let's go with the honorable mentions and let's sort this out first, and then we'll go with the task of sorting these S's out. So let me go with anything that had 2 S's in that A tier, which would be Batman it would be a Goofy movie.
Ooh,
They both had kind of similar, kind of 2-2, and then a B or a C kind of thrown in there. So they're in contention. Fievel with the 2 and 3 is in contention, and then everything else is like a 1 and change. So actually, those are going to be
Perfect.
The third.
our three, yeah, because Nightmare on Elm Street had like 1 S and 4 A's. There's other ones that had 1, like Mulan, 1 and some change. So those are the ones that had
Sad
2,
about Mulan, but
had
that's
2 had 2 and some change. So those 3 are literally going to
Just how
be
stacked the decade is.
our honorable
Mulan
mentions.
deserves better.
All right, so back up to the S tier. Let's go with our 4 and 1s kind of situations, which are going to be Rescuers, which is going to be Beavis and Butthead, and Prince of Egypt. Yeah, literally that. Everything else like clean sweep. So let's go. We got to rank those first.
Do the votes matter? Because I remember Beavis and Butthead was 4 and a B, where Prince of Egypt.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
4 and
so
A.
Beavis and Butthead had 4 and a B. So yeah, that's true. Beavis and Butthead would be right where it's at.
Trying to make it easier.
No, that's fine. Rescuers and Rescuers and Prince of Egypt are the ones that are tied. So we got to vote between those two. So
this one's kind of tough for me because one has way better music, but the other one has just a better overall movie.
So we'll do a quick vote on this. So which is higher, Prince of Egypt or Rescuers Down Under? Brian.
Prince of Egypt.
Okay, Richie.
Rescuers.
Jacob.
Prince of Egypt.
I'll go Rescuers.
It's tough, but I think I gotta go with Rescuers because I can't just go on music alone. So.
I've seen Rescuers like 8,000 times more than Prince of Egypt, so that's why I have to go that way.
Yeah, same here.
Here's where it's getting juicy because boy,
all the rest are clean
six
man.
Sweeps. So man, even breaking these up is going to be tricky because I don't even know where. Okay, I know where we'll start. Let's go Toy Story versus Toy Story 2. Let's break it down a little bit here. So I'll break it down piece by piece.
Okay.
So let's break it down to the 2 Pixar movies first. Toy Story versus Toy Story 2. Let's go up and down the horn and see which you guys vote for. Brian.
Toy Story 2.
2. Okay, Richie.
Toy Story 2.
Jacob.
1.
I'm gonna go 2.
I would have gone 1.
Okay, so let's put Toy Story 2 slightly above Toy Story. Now, again, where it ranks overall, we're not done yet. I'm just trying to break this down somewhat. Okay. Yeah. Now let's deal with the Disney movies. So we got those 4. Let's say we were making a top 3 out of those 4 Disneys. Which one would not make it? I'm trying to break this down as easy as possible. Which one would you not include?
Would not make it? Okay.
Which would not
include? That makes it easy for me.
A top 3 Disney out of those 4, Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback. Which one would you exclude from like a top 5 type situation? Okay. So we'll go with that. So Brian, which one would you exclude?
I would exclude. It's gonna be a hot take, but Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, Richie.
It's tough, but maybe Hunchback.
Okay. Jacob?
Unfortunately, Hunchback.
I'm in the same boat. I would put Hunchback below those other 3.
I would also say Hunchback.
Okay, so let's do Hunchback right about where it's at. Right about at like number 6 spot. Now, okay, so I think we have kind of a top 5 contenders here with Lion King, Aladdin, Toy Story 2, Toy Story, Beauty and the Beast. Is that fair? I think that's a pretty solid top 5. Now, again, sorting it out is going to be tricky. So,
it's like how do we want to do that?
Yeah, let's work our way backwards. Which one is last out of the 5 for everybody personally? Which would you rank at number 5, Brian? And let's see if we get any kind of things. Okay, Toy Story. Okay, Richie.
Man,
I'm doing my best here, guys. I know it's
I know. It's all good. Probably
Tough.
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, Jacob. What would be like number 5 out of that group?
Toy Story 2.
Yeah,
I'd go Lion King.
And I would also say Toy Story 2.
All right, Toy Story 2 is going to get bumped to the 5 spot, even though it kind of beat out Toy
Got-
Story.
Yeah, Toy Story, but even
So-
still,
Yeah,
You
so
want to do this?
yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. With Toy
we
Story,
kind of
first
might
review
need to. I feel like.
being like 4 and 5, I'm kind of okay
Yeah.
with that. Because again, all these are making the championship, so we can sort it
Right.
out
Yeah.
later. All right, so out of those three with the Disney movies, the prime renaissance right
Oh
there,
man,
let's go with what would be your number one out of that grouping right there, that top three. So Lion King, Aladdin,
Number
pretty
one?
much the three that everybody talks about. Beauty and the Beast.
I
What would
don't
be
even
number
know.
one?
For
Number one, you got to make a decision. Brian, what's number one?
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Richie,
Lion King.
Jacob,
Lion King.
Beauty and the Beast.
man, I think I would go Beauty and the Beast too, probably.
That's
Okay,
not
so-
eligible.
Yeah, right.
So no, but
No.
no, this makes it a little easier. Lion King and Beauty and the Beast are tied with 2, so we're gonna break that vote down into the 2.
So Aladdin goes to 3.
Aladdin
yeah.
goes to 3. So break it down. Number one, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. Brian,
Lion King.
Lion King. Richie,
Lion King.
Jacob.
Lion King.
Yeah. All right. I say Beauty and the Beast, but I know where this is
I'd
going.
say Beauty and the Beast too. But
All right. So there you go.
Again,
So-
I'm not mad about it.
yeah, I'm not mad about it. I'm just we gotta.
What kind of flip flops for me? Because you asked me another day, I'd probably say Lion King. It's just I'm saying.
Yeah. So
So-
I think that's probably where we're gonna stand if everybody's kind of cool with it. It just kind of is.
Yeah,
what
that's
it
good.
is.
That's a good top 10. I like
It's a good
it.
top 10.
I'm not
yeah.
cool with it because Mulan.
it went to
That's
the
fine.
top 8.
Yeah. all
Yeah,
good.
you know,
8 of those were in my personal top 10 when I was playing with the chart earlier, so I'm cool with this.
so yeah,
And 2 of them are in the honorable mention, or
I think
in the A
one of
tier.
the-
So
I think all but one I would give it an S to. So
yeah. So there we go. That's going to be our 10 and 3. So for the 90s, so all 10 of those will move on to the championship episode. And
boy.
yeah, man, that like top 5 there, man, you could put all those in
Yeah.
like the top 10 of the championship, and I'd be okay with it too.
Yep,
Like, who knows?
same.
Like it's going to be crazy. It's going to be something. So we'll see what
I'm
happens.
actually like
That's gonna be tough.
really excited for the championship. I think it's gonna be fun.
I'm
So,
not.
Man, we're gonna trying to make those decisions is gonna be hard. So
Yeah.
well, I think that's gonna do it, Jordan. What do you say? I break this thing down and we
Yeah.
wrap it up. So
Let's break it down.
yeah, tough
do it.
decisions. Maybe not so much what got up in there, but once you start trying to pick between one or the other, little
Yeah.
rough. But for at least for right now, our top 10 for tonight, 90s animated. Number 1 is going to be Lion King. Number 2, Beauty and the Beast. Number 3, Aladdin. Number 4, Toy Story. Number 5, Toy Story 2. Number 6, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Number 7, Rescuers Down Under. Number 8, Prince of Egypt. Number 9, Beavis and Butthead Do America. Number 10, The Iron Giant. And our honorable mentions tonight, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, A Goofy Movie, and Five Goes West.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Woo! But look at that.
yeah.
Look at that talent on the screen there, even with the A tier, man. Jesus, there's some talent on the
I
screen.
mean, you got 2 Beavis Butthead movies in the championship.
We do have 2 Beavis and Butthead
And
movies.
then
in
we
the
go
show.
down here.
Yep. Yeah. Let me go down there.
I've seen the Nostalgia Critic episode on Rover Dangerfield. I wanted to watch the whole thing, but it seems pretty rough. But yeah,
And throw in Fantasia 2000. I think that was the only movie on this list that I ranked an F. Only one.
Yeah, that's why.
A troll in Central Park's not very good either.
No, that one's not good.
Yeah.
I agree.
The best thing to come out of A Troll of Central Park is the James Lipton, Will Ferrell thing from SNL, where he has Alec Baldwin playing Charles Nelson Riley, and he asked to speak with the Troll King from A Troll of Central Park.
Oh yeah. Nice.
I'm King What? It's a troll in Central Park.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Nice.
Charles Nelson Riley, when he's your star, you're in trouble.
Yeah. That is not good. But
All right.
yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight. So that was fun. Yeah, looking forward to the championship quite a bit. But
And
yeah, well,
and added on around the time of the championship, we will also do an animated movie draft.
Yeah.
So a lot of
If
these
you
movies
need
will
someone,
be
I could be part of it.
eligible
Sure.
draft. We'll see. Yeah, I'm sure Jacob will want to be a part of that for sure. So yeah, an animated, of course. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
be
probably
doing
do
a
it just
draft.
like right after, maybe like
right
the
after.
week
Yeah.
after.
So we'll see, and a lot of those championship movies will probably be high up on draft lists. So for sure.
Yeah,
we'll get that
but-
done.
yeah, we'll just do some plugs and that'll do it. So much shorter episode than our last one. So much.
5
much.
hours.
Yeah.
Most of them are going to be shorter than the last.
About-
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
half as long.
Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, we'll start with Brian. Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me doing shooting both spaces. I filled lost my playing match with Jordan Richie, the Full Metal Classic.
Yeah, that's what you need to
Yeah.
say. Keep me on.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta rub it in.
Also, contribute to JPO League. I appear here most of the time. Be back for Trade Show Part 1 of the latter series. And I judge the movie Battleground.
All right.
Yeah,
From there.
sounds good. Richie, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can catch me on here. Catch me on Tournament Fights. You can catch me on Lonely Marks. Yeah, we reviewed Slamboree and Ready to Rumble. Next week we will be doing 2 predictions of Night of Champions and Double or Nothing, which finally have matches on it to shape out a card. So that's kind of
maybe they'll announce a couple more before we go live on Thursday on Dynamite.
Yeah, probably, or maybe the day of the show. Oh, okay, but I picked that one.
Throw 8 matches on the pre-show, like right the day of.
Yeah. So check that out. I'm also on Combat Wrestling Trivia, where I'll be, despite his rejections, I will be playing Jacob Barber at some point. So I will. That is going to happen. And my podcast, Tell Me Streaming, with the 2B podcast with my friend Robert Cameron. We're doing the movie called Head of the Family next. It's a full moon production, so it's not. Yeah, it's going to be wacky. So check that out. And other than that, I judge Battleground sometimes. You might see me on there. I'll be on Rankin on Sunday doing Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
Who'll be on with you on the episode?
Huh?
Who's on the episode with you?
I don't know everybody. I think Jonathan Caro is one of the people, but I can't remember who. But so
he was on with me last time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
sounds good.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Yeah. And Jacob, where can we find you?
Like Richie said, Lonely Marks. I host that, and then the podcast about movies. We'll be back next Saturday with a show talking some remakes. We've kind of been doing these shows based around 4 movies, and so it's kind of a formula that's been working because we can go more in depth on the movies than if we were talking about like 9 or 10. So
right. Well, we're gonna do our anniversary show that like we did last year, but we're gonna break it up by decade and actually just go 4 movie by 4 movie by 4 movie. So we're gonna break that up. That'll be later in the year, but yeah.
Yeah, finally, after a year, we finally found a formula that kind of works for us. So it's been a lot of fun. So we'll be back next week talking remakes. And on Sunday, we'll be doing a comedy draft. So that'll be a lot of fun. And I've got a Battleground match, exhibition match. I don't know when it'll be airing, but hopefully soon, because I think it was the most fun I had in a debate. So I'm really looking forward to that coming out.
Yeah, Jordan, you should watch that one. It was a TMNT exhibition, so it's all about turtles.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got to check that out. Right on.
Yeah, hopefully my Battleground title match with Amaru Moses should be up in the next week or 2. That's definitely a match of the year candidate, so you guys are going to want to watch that. Really, really good match. And I've hosted a bunch of matches lately too, so it should be a bunch of matches that I've been guest host. I'm shooting for that guest host of the year thing, is much like player of the year, match of the year. I'm going for like John Rocco, all the belts, all the records, all that stuff. So going for everything. But yeah, I'll be on with these guys on that comedy draft on Sunday. That'll be all right. And we got a bunch of tournaments next week, and Lonely Marks and a podcast about movies with Jacob. So as we always do. But yeah. Some good stuff.
Well, they should have called me out of retirement for that Team NT match. I would have done it, but it's all good.
It's on their Facebook page if you check it out.
Yeah, gotta check it out. But you can find all things for the channel at Movie Hero 2121 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on my personal Instagram at Jordan83616, and then you can find us in the Swan Friends and Family group where we'll have the poll up, which I still need to put up the poll for Wolf's matchup. I'm actually going to try to do that right after this, so I haven't gotten it yet. But there'll be some weird things like that. I can't remember the name of that weird documentary about homeless people that made it into the Elite Eight somehow. Like that I never even voted for once, but everyone else did. It's really weird, but and yeah. We did some things for the Patreon coming up. Jacob mentioned the animated, or sorry, the comedy movie draft. We doing me, Jacob, Austin, and Benny Hamlin. So that should be fun for some Patreon for the or some content for the Patreon. What we're gonna do though, if you can catch it live, we're actually gonna have it live on the channel, and we'll just have the raw version without any graphics, and then I'm gonna add more graphics, and I'll move it over to the Patreon so you can see it there. And an upscaled content, I'll say. And then we already mentioned the animated draft we'll be doing once this whole thing wraps up. We'll be doing that. We'll be doing trivia in about 2 weeks. We decided to push it back a little bit because I'm going to be out of town, and I just have some more things going on that it'll be 2 weeks, but I already confirmed with our current champion Ryan Permison. He'll be coming back for that, and I got to find another a panel. So if you would like to play and you didn't play on the last match, then you can probably be on that one.
I think I signed up for it, if I'm not mistaken. For the next
Yeah.
one.
So if you want to be on it, we'll get you on it.
So
yeah,
I'll be on it, but just as a producer behind the scenes with Jordan, helping him keep score and do some things.
Yeah.
So I'll be just observing, maybe answering for fun, but I won't be a part of it as.
Yeah, maybe doing some color commentary.
I'll do some banner, some color commentary, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Rolling.
Yeah, but and then I might be getting back into some things I haven't done for a while. I might be getting back into some video game streaming, possibly because I have Dead Island 2 coming in the mail tomorrow. The Hell A version, because that's still available. The pre-order one is still out there, so I finally got that. That's a game that I've been waiting over 10 years for. The first trailer for that came out 10 years ago, and the game finally released this year, so it's kind of crazy. But and then I might be getting back into some Snack Hero stuff. I'm just trying to decide how I want to do it. It'll be in a limited form, but I have found some snacks I want to review. Got a couple flavors of Pop-Tarts. I finally found in the U.S. the ketchup and mustard flavored Doritos. Those are there. There's a few like sodas and like different things that I've picked up. So I want to do something, but it'll be in a limited form. So and then just a preview of what we have coming up for.
Oh my God, the White Men Can't Jump remake just dropped today on Hulu. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I saw that, but surprisingly though, the trailers to me, it didn't look too bad. But I think it's going to be bad.
Jacob, you'll have to watch it first, or maybe us will watch it. It's basketball, so see how it is. I don't know. I'm worried.
Oh, I'm watching it tonight.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I think so. Either tonight or tomorrow.
It just dropped. I just got an email that it just dropped on Hulu. So there you go.
With Jack Harlow and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
we'll see.
But and then I'm going to try to go see Fast X tomorrow and maybe do a little review on it. I still want to do a review on Guardians 3, so that might still be coming. It's a little late, but I just didn't have time to get to it. So I might do like a double review of that together maybe. But and then the preview of what's coming up for tournament fights in Tier Ranker. We're finally getting around to our Nick Cage versus Keanu Reeves match. That'll be this Monday. So I'll be prepping for that. Or actually, that's this Monday. Yeah, that's this Monday. I'm making sure I have my dates right. Yeah. So I watched a couple of them, and then I kind of put that on hold. So I'm going to get back into watching those. Then we have best movies of 2012 happening this week as well. So going to have a little bit of a packed week this week, so there'll be a lot of stuff going because we got a Patreon thing Sunday, then we got a show on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it's kind of
what?
Or actually, no,
Monday, Wednesday.
There's nothing on a Tuesday, only Monday, Wednesday. So there's no Tuesday. So yeah, but and then we getting into the best and worst movie remakes. So and I'll probably start watching some of those too. But then we have our our best movies of a 2012 championship is a little offset because I'm going out of town. So we'll have part 1 and part 2 this week, but then we'll wait until the following week for the championship. And then we'll be doing our movie hero mystery tournament where we put all of our favorites into a giant wheel. We spin it 64 times, and then whatever movies pop out, we're going to do a tournament fights episode on that. And I've started to put the wheel together. I don't know if I made a mistake because I wanted it to look high quality for the channel, so I'm like adding all these graphics and stuff. That's gonna be like 700 graphics. I don't know if I can like even stomach that. So we'll see. I did it for my list. Maybe mine have graphics. We'll see. I don't know. But and then we have best movie duos, our championship for that. And then once Father's Day rolls around, that'll be in June. We'll be doing best movie dads as a tier ranker, same way we did best movie moms. And then we got our best of 2011 coming up soon. And then we're starting our geek characters tournament. I was inspired by Amaru and Moses' channel. They did a big geek characters tournament, but I'm doing it slightly different where I'm going to have more categories. So the first one up is going to be best Star Wars characters. And I know we already did a best Star Wars characters tournament. I just wanted to maybe redo it with a different panel just to see how they rank overall as far as like some of our like partners in the channel, our regulars, that type of thing. And then by the end of June, it was good for Friday, June 30th is when our animated championship will take place. So I'll just end it with that one. So it'll be about a month from now. So yeah, but that will do it for us tonight. So that was a fun time, guys. Thanks again, and yeah, we'll be back again at this. I mean, we'll be back on Sunday with more content, but we'll be back with the championship in about a month from now. So yeah, but that'll do it. So for Brian, for Jacob, for Austin, for Richie, I've been Jordan, the movie hero Anderson, and we'll see you next time.